It's a new look here in Corvallis. Yeah, the Beaver will be around forever, but they've got a new athletic director. They have a new head coach. The 50-year-old Gary Anderson coming over after a very successful stint at Wisconsin. 2 years there, previous 4 years at Utah State. He's used to rebuilding some programs. Along with Yogi Roth, Lewis Johnson, I'm Kevin Calabro. Welcome in, everybody. Gary Anderson is starting right now with two freshman quarterback, Yogi, and both are going to play today.
Well, it's the only team in the country who does zero experience at the quarterback position. And in Seth Collins, he's going to take the very first snap tonight. This true freshman was committed to San Jose State. Mid-year decided he was going to make a change in January, come here to Oregon State University, was here for spring football, played well. He is the front runner, the more athletic quarterback. And on the other side, Marcus Mamarian, he's going to play the third series. They're going to go two series, and then see what happens from there. But remember, he was trained by Mike Riley. He's trained in more functional football intelligence, that pro-style offense. So he's got that background in him, probably the more accurate of the two, but you'll see a heavy dose of both of those youngsters.
And one of the coaches tell the young guys, don't try to do it all by yourself. You have help out there. Storm Bars Woods has been there. He's done that. 2,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards in passing.
Well, the biggest thing when a new head coach takes over a program is making sure you get buy-in from the veterans. And Storm Bars Woods has bought in as much as anyone on this team to Gary Anderson and his staff. And oh, by the way, he's a heck of a football player. Can run the football in between the tackles. He's great in the screen game. His pass protection is going to be big time. And keep in mind, he was on everyone's radar a couple years ago. Him and Brandon Cooks, he kind of fell off a little bit, was banged up. He's excited to get back and run behind this offensive line.
Yeah, Isaac Sayamalu is back in that front line. And more good news for this freshman quarterback, because this is a very seasoned offensive line, maybe the strength of their team.
Well, he's eager to get back on the football field. As a freshman, he was a freshman All-American. He's been injured throughout his career. This offensive line is the strength of this team. You're going to watch him pound the rock in front of the Beaver Dam.
The Beavers take on Weber State. We've got the kick for you just around the bend here in Corvallis on the Pac-12 Network. Set for football here in Corvallis, Oregon, as the Oregon State Beavers, under their new head coach, Gary Anderson, take to the field to take on Weber State this afternoon here at Research Stadium. Welcome in, Yogi Roth, Kevin Calabro, Lewis Johnson down on the field, ready to get this one underway. The opener for the Beavers and their opponent, Weber State, a team that they know a great deal about because they make friends with the staff. They have family on that Weber State staff. And here is their starting quarterback, Jadrian Clark. Let's go down to the field and Lewis Johnson.
All right, Kevin. Well, Weber State head coach Jay Hill remembers last season when his quarterback Jadrian Clark came to his office begging for that opportunity. Well, he got it. He played in 6 games last season, started in 4, threw for 902 yards and 7 touchdowns. Well, he followed that up with a pretty good summer training camp, fall camp. Everyone's excited to see what he's going to do today. Jay Hill told us that he gives the Wildcats that dual threat that they like, throw and run, and we like that in our leader, he said, on offense. Clark spent a lot of time with his offensive coordinator this summer. They talked about being that point guard, distributing the ball and letting the other guys make plays. So really, Jadrian Clark needs to play with poise and confidence, and what they want him to do today is really play with what the defense gives him and not try to do it all. That's his mantra for this game 1. Kevin?
Well, Lewis, we mentioned the fact that Jay Hill, now in his second year as a head football coach, spent 13 years as an assistant at Utah. Gary Anderson actually recruited Jay Hill to play at Utah, and he and Gary were on the same staff. That's why we say they know one another. They know the tendencies. There are very few secrets between the two staffs, right, Yogi?
It's such a unique night, not only the opener for Gary Anderson, but these staffs, it's as incestuous as any game in the country. They've worked for each other. They played for each other. They've GA'd for one another. I mean, they all know each other, and if you love competition, you love going up against your boy, and that's what they have tonight.
Garrett Owens is set to get things underway as Oregon State will kick off to Weber State. The up man to receive, Eric Wilkes, Teron Johnson, and Drew Batchelor back there. And immediately the special teams of Oregon State will swarm over Weber State, and they'll start things just outside their own 20-yard line. A look at Jadrian Clark, good-looking young quarterback who stands 6'3" out of Lakeland, Florida.
And he won 2 of the last 3 last year. You know, talking to Jay Hill, their head coach, about Clark and this entire team, it just took them a while to really buy in. I mean, this is a team that had 4 head coaches in 4 years. That is not easy on a student athlete from a trust standpoint. Now they have full trust in their system, and they have full trust in their quarterback, Jadrian Clark.
And Clark will immediately go to work with 3 receivers here to the near side and a man in motion. And he'll flick it out to the near side. It's a double pass. It's going deep. A man is open down the field, and the ball is nearly intercepted down at the 35-yard line of the Oregon State Beavers. Well, Jay Hill told us in a conference call earlier this week that we are going to throw all the gadgets at Oregon State.
Well, you'll see, just watch it on the top side of your screen. You'll see a running back coming out of the backfield. It's a double pass, trying to take advantage of the early emotion early on. But what a play by Treston DeCoud. I mean, this is a defense that lost 9 starters. Treston DeCoud, Jr. out of Covington, Louisiana. Big play early on.
On second down, they swing it to the right side. Here's a lot of space. At the 40 to the 45-yard line comes Eric Wilkes, the 5'7" bowling ball, sophomore out of Las Vegas, Nevada. First down now for Weber State. Off to a good start as they mark the ball at the 44-yard line. Take a look at him here from Corvallis.
Well, for Weber State, take advantage of OSU's energy. Use it against them. We saw that early on. The trick play didn't work, but it was close, and they just busted a big run.
Clark will have a man in motion. He'll fake the handoff, and he'll take it straight ahead, and a pickup of about 4 or 5 on the play.
In Oregon State, they got to be relentless, but with control. Think about it. You're so geeked up. You're so charged. The first weekend of college football, but you've got to be sound. You can't try too hard. What has happened in this first drive? You've seen Oregon State defenders try too hard, overrunning the majority of plays. Even that first play of the trick play, it was pretty close. If Treston DeCoud isn't there, it's a big-time play. So Kalani Sitake, earlier in the game, we talked to him in pregame. He said, I got to calm these guys down. They're a little excited.
Cameron Livingston comes wide to the near side. You'll be hearing his name a great deal this afternoon. Clark comes back, play action, sets his feet. Has time now from the backside. The ball is stripped. It is loose. It is recovered by Weber State. They'll have possession at about the 50-yard line.
Recovered by the offense. 3rd down.
Recovered by Weber State, and a very good backside pressure applied by the Beavers.
Oh, you just look at the pressure coming. It kind of reminds you of Kalani Sitake defenses, right? Just coming off the edge is exactly what this team does. They're very fast up front, very strong up front, create a big-time turnover, and away they go. Going to be fun watching this defense get after it all afternoon long.
It was Ramel Maggio made the strip of the ball. Clark goes back to work, and he throws it right in to the back of his offensive line.
This defense is completely different. Schematically, it's a 3-down front versus a 4-down front, which is what they usually ran the last couple years. Mike Riley was the head coach. They're more aggressive. They're bringing more pressure off the edge.
Kyle Pecco got a piece of that one, and what a great addition he is going to be to the front line for Oregon State this year after 2 years to get eligible. The punt settles in at about the 8-yard line, and that's where the Oregon State Beavers will go back to work. And as we mentioned, the story here at Corvallis is the fact that 2 freshman quarterback will be sharing the snaps.
Well, and Seth Collins is going to get it right off the bat, and he's so excited. Talking to him yesterday on the field after their walkthrough, he said, man, I've been dreaming about this game forever, just being so excited. He hasn't slept for a couple nights. So if you're this coaching staff, the first thing you want to do is just make it a quarterback run. Get him hit right off the bat, and it's interesting to see if they do that. They're backed up in their own territory on the first drive of the game.
So Oregon State getting a couple of fine defensive plays, the strip, and then Pecco knocking the ball down. And now the punt deep into their own territory in the shotgun. And working out on the perimeter and getting some spaces. Collins finally dragged down at the 26-yard line. And you see that burst in the electricity that they talked about as a staff as they approach this game.
Well, it's all about the vision of this quarterback, Seth Collins. He gives a simple fake. This is what every team does who runs these spread offenses, but they don't have number 4. This is a very gifted athlete.
Josh Burton came in to knock him down for Weber State, and it's first down for Oregon State. Now they have a little breathing room. And on first down, they bounce out the veteran to the far side of the field. Storm Bars Woods, a senior from Pflugerville, Texas, 68 receiving yards shy of becoming just the second Beaver to achieve 2,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving.
Watch the quarterback. You think he's excited to play? Oh, now I'm just going to be the fullback and just be the lead blocker here. I mean, think about it. He was going to San Jose State. He did not have a Pac-12 offer. He's wanted to be a Pac-12 quarterback his whole life. First 2 plays, pretty impressive.
2nd down and 5. Collins fakes the handoff, drops back, passes to the big tight end, is chopped down at about the 31-yard line. Kellen Kloop, 6'5" senior out of Spokane.
Welcome to college football. 3rd snap in a row. I mean, he's getting the textbook in terms of what it means to play this game at a high level. He runs the ball first snap, plays fullback the second time, gets hit after completing a pass. I think he's settling in a little bit at this position.
Flag on the play. Referee Michael Mothership.
Number 7 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down.
Now let's take a look at our Reese's Perfect Combination.
Well, keep an eye on Josh Mitchell. He's the starting center, and in this offense, you've got 2 quarterbacks who have never played before. He's got to be in control of the communication. And Jordan Villeman, he is an all Pac-12 caliber wide receiver, and he looks the part. 6'5", 231. If they can throw him the ball, he's going to have a big year.
That personal foul will push the ball to the 46-yard line and first down for the Beavers, who go to the ground. Storm Bars Woods with a gain of a few on the play. Brings up 2nd down.
You know, what's interesting is watching both of these teams and their tempos. Weber State had the ball, they huddle up. We rarely ever see that in college football. And then Oregon State, they don't huddle, but they have a variety of tempos. They are taking their time. They want to run the football tonight, try to take as much clock off as they can.
Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, coming over from Colorado State, previously on the staff of Gary Anderson at Utah State. Here's Collins back to throw, slants a pass to the near side. That ball is underthrown and incomplete.
Dave Baldwin, you look at his resume and it speaks for itself. I mean, he's been all over college football. Michigan State with Jeff Smoker and Drew Stanton, the quarterbacks back in the day. Obviously was at Utah State when Chucky Keaton was going off. Goes to Colorado State. Garrett Grayson a year ago, he absolutely went off, threw for over 4,000 yards when he was there. And now here, I mean, he really has so many tools in his toolbox from an offensive standpoint.
He said buckle up, multiple formations, multiple personnel, bubble screen to the near side, goes nowhere, and Weber State sniffs it out. They diagnosed that beautifully, and that is a loss of a few, and they'll mark it at the 40-yard line.
Well, keep in mind, for Weber State, their head coach, Jay Hill, is also their defensive coordinator now. His defensive coordinator a year ago, Justin Eno, went to the University of Utah to go coach there, so he's calling the defense, and he was trained by Gary Anderson. This is a very interesting game from a schematic standpoint because they all kind of been trained in the same system.
Nick Borowski will punt. He is back at his own 30-yard line. Darrell Denby, the sophomore from Murrieta, California, waits for this one. It comes off wobbling near the sideline and takes a favorable bounce for Oregon State, and Weber State will take over inside their own 15-yard line when we come back to Corvallis. No score here on the Pac-12 Network. Welcome back to Corvallis. We're just now sliding this one into the oven early on. 9:52 left first quarter. That's OSU on that pizza, by the way, Yogi. And make mine with salami, thank you. Well, both teams have had an opportunity to touch the football. Jadrian Clark has thrown a double pass already. And already Oregon State's defensive front line has made their presence known. And so Weber State will go to the ground here on first down from inside their 20-yard line and a gain of a couple on the play.
First drive Weber State had a lot of success, took advantage of over pursuit by Oregon State, a little over aggressive, probably a little excited. Will they be able to win at the line of scrimmage if they just want to run the football? Because that's a big part of their system.
This is the youngest football team in the Pac-12. You mentioned it. 9th youngest in collegiate football, Oregon State. On second down, here's Clark. And he'll hand off to Wilkes, working to the left side. And big man will rumble to the far sideline. And again, he grinds out a couple on the play. Coming up to make the stop, Justin Strong from the free safety position.
This system, sometimes you want to keep it, sometimes you got to give it. And Eric Wilkes, they're taught as the running back. You're taking it every single time. And this is a young man who's really went to work in the offseason. Last year he could squat about 300 pounds. Now he's up to 550. He went to work in the offseason, as is his entire team. Jay Hill feels they are finally strong enough to be able to compete in their conference.
3rd and 3 for Weber State. Out of the big sky. Back to throw is Clark. Double clutches and finds Wilkes coming free out of the backfield, but he is knocked down on a nice open field tackle shy of the first down.
Preston DeCoud, I mean, he just keeps showing up. Talking to the staff about being such a young team, they said we had to be physical in training camp. We had to make tackles. They fly to the football, making tackles. That entire defense, really impressive flying to the football early on.
So Weber State forced to punt. And a wobbler sends this man backpedaling, and inside the 30-yard line, making the catch down there was Damian Haskins, and that's where Oregon State will set up when we come back after the timeout on the Pac-12 Network. Earlier today, heavy rains here in Corvallis, Oregon, because that's what it does this time of year in Oregon. It rains, and then you get a little sunshine, and you've got to be prepared to bring your rain gear or your sunglasses or both with the umbrella and the tarp. In the meantime, the band was out there during all of that torrential downpour, and they were rehearsing, getting ready for the state, the opener. And here they are now in fine form.
They didn't flinch. It didn't matter to them. They were showing up.
Well, they need rain badly, of course, here in the Northwest, and finally we are getting it. On first down, it is Oregon State. They sweep it here to the near side. And look at the pursuit by Weber State. They've done an excellent job, Yogi, of prescribing things and getting to the ball, but another flag flies on that play. Teron Johnson lost his headgear, so he will have to come out for one play, and the officials confer. Already Weber State has been penalized for a personal foul in this ball game here early. No score.
Personal foul, number 23 of the defense. His helmet came off during the play, and he continued to participate in the play and make the tackle. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
You know, it's a rule in college football, and it's the right rule from a safety standpoint. But as a player, it's really hard because you know your helmet's off, but you're just playing. You're caught up in the moment, so that's a tough penalty. It's the right penalty for the right reasons, but it's one where you kind of can't fault your player for just continually hustling after the play.
Trayvon Johnson, the junior from Salt Lake City, and I'm sure Jay Hill will take that penalty gladly. I mean, that just shows great pursuit, hustle, tenacity, all of that. He'll have to sit out the play, though, and here comes Collins. He'll run it. And just barely is knocked down by two defenders there. Looked like he was going to split the double team, Yogi, but he is into Weber State territory once again. Teron Johnson back out on the field for Weber State.
He's electric when he runs. He's like a deer, kind of little like Colin Kaepernick back when he was in Nevada. You could put that foot in the ground and go with those long legs.
Collins, dual threat quarterback from San Diego, California. We were told he was electric. He's 6'3". He's rangy, and he can go. Look at him stutter step and then cut it back, and then is knocked down in traffic and is very close to achieving the first down.
He's such a competitor. You know, you're talking to the staff. They said, we know that he likes to compete. We know he sometimes likes to jump over people, but we got to teach him how to get down and not take a lot of hits. But he is so excited. The quarterback competition obviously is still ongoing, and he knows after this series he's going to have to go to the bench for a minute as Marcus Marion will make his debut.
Collins pivots in the handoff, and Oregon State grinding across the 45-yard line. Storm bars Woods, figures to get a lot of carries. The experienced senior trying to take some of the pressure certainly off of these freshman quarterback. And you look at his numbers, 766 yards for the year. But keep in mind that 541 of those yards are achieved in the first half of the season last year when he was averaging 8.2 yards per carry. Here's a guy that starts off quick. Oregon State trying to send a quick one up the middle, and it is quickly prescribed knockdown. Tella makes the stop on Null, the ball carrier.
Tella is a gifted player. This young man was injured towards the last third of the season and still got votes. Remember, he's a true freshman a year ago. Still got votes to be the player of the year defensively in their conference. So he kind of sets the tone for that defense. Carson Lillenquist, he's flying to the football. So they had guys that have played at that backer position.
Brings up 3rd down and 5, and they go to the gun. Here's a throw out to the near side, coming out of the backfield. And once again, is Storm Bars Woods. We mentioned he is getting very, very close to achieving 1,000 yards in receiving. Came into this one needing 68 to join Jacquizz Rogers, who's the only Oregon State Beaver to achieve 2,000 yards rushing and 1,000 through the air.
You see them mixing up their tempos, trying to take advantage of maybe a fatigued defense.
That's a 1st down in Oregon State now, going back to work with Collins dropping. Sets his feet, throws near side to Storm Bars Woods, and the ball tipped away, and pass broken up. Down there was Trayvon Johnson to make the stop.
Storm Bars Woods, he's a matchup issue. And it's hard to match up personnel-wise. Really nice play on Weber State, just throwing the hands right at the last second there in Trayvon Johnson, coming back after that penalty earlier on in this drive.
Brings up 2nd down, and Collins will hand off to Chris Brown, his first carry of the afternoon. Brown is a 202-pound junior from Fresno, California. Played on special teams a year ago and will be the primary backup behind Storm Bars Woods.
You know, for all the Oregon State fans trying to figure out the quarterback thing, it doesn't matter 1st and 2nd down for the most part. This is the critical downs and distances. 3rd down, knocking on the door in the red zone.
Collins rolls out, plenty of time, throws on the run and throws a strike down there to the 21-yard line. And a terrific catch made down there.
Man-to-man coverage. Jordan Velleman's going to win most of those. 6'5", 231. And they get a generous spot to move the sticks.
Wow. Looked like they were about a yard shy. And they'll check the chains.
And you can see Dave Baldwin and the staff on the sideline of Oregon State. They're trying to get the next player in because they knew they got a little lucky there.
The previous play is under review.
You see where the sticks are. It's pretty much right at the 20. It's where they were generous.
The ruling on the field is a 1st down.
Remember, the way the rule is it's where the ball is. It's not where your feet are when you catch the ball. It's exactly where the ball is. And there was no forward progress in terms of the ball being in front of the chain. So I think we'll move that back. And now it's decision time for Gary Anderson. This is a team where he's really worked on their attitude, their mentality. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes for it if it's 4th down.
Take a look once again. Velleman in the route.
It is right on the 20. He catches the ball. It kind of hits his pads right as he's crossing over the 20-yard line, but doesn't. It's the process of the catch, especially if you're going to the ground.
Now the first replay of the afternoon, the ball marked down at the 20. They're trying to determine if it should be marked at the 21 or the 20. And the call on the field is a 1st down.
Not expecting to overturn it on this.
You know, Yogi, last year Oregon State was not very good at all in the red zone. For example, against Portland State, they were 1 of 9 scoring in the red zone inside the 20-yard line. And Gary Anderson, he spoke publicly about the need the necessity to get 70% down there inside the red zone. So this will be, as you say, an indicator, I think, of possibly some things that's come. Here's the call.
After review, the receiver had possession at the 20.5-yard line. Therefore, it's going to be 4th and short.
That's the right call. And you're right. Last year, they were 51% in terms of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That's not good enough if you want to compete for the Pac-12 North. And I kind of like the attitude right now. You see them, they're rolling out there. Offense is coming back. And for a quarterback, this is what you want, Seth Collins. You want these types of moments, these 3rd down throws. That's a big-time throw by him.
And this is on the offensive line as well. You mentioned at the top of the program, this may be one of the strengths of this football team is that seasoned offensive line.
on them, I'm going right over Isaac Sayamalo. Keep an eye on him. He'll be your right guard.
Here's the turn, the handoff to Stormbars Woods. Makes the extra effort, but Weber State looks to have stopped him at the 21-yard line. They may have met him at the line of scrimmage and actually pushed him back a half yard or so.
Carson Lillenquist. Talked to the staff about him. Asked Jay Hill, who coached at Utah for a long time. He goes, he's a D1 linebacker. He filled the hole and said, hey, Pac-12, I'm here.
Weber State takes over on downs at their own 21-yard line with 3:43 left here in this first quarter. No score yet from Corvallis. Yogi Roth, Kevin Calabro, Lewis Johnson here with you on our opener. And the Pac-12 Network saw some intriguing football last night in the conference. Utah, the win at home against Michigan. And Arizona with a fine win as well at home. And waiting on word on the condition of Scooby Wright and that knee. Here's Clark to throw on first down, and he zips one down the field, down the seam, and incomplete. Intended receiver was Drew Batchelor.
You got to love what both of these teams are doing schematically. Keep an eye on the top of your screen, okay? Here's our corner. Watch the corner blitz, okay? It changed formationally, offensively. So what that does is it forced Oregon State to just play vanilla defense because they went to an exotic formation. And Kalani Sitake said, no, we're not doing that. We're actually bringing pressure from the boundary, force the ball out of the quarterback's hand. A really nice job by Treston DeCoud. He's had probably the most complete game, most active game for the defense right now for Oregon State.
Clark last year 5 starts and was 52% completion, not good. He'll tuck it and run this time, and he's across the line of scrimmage, and he's very close to first down as he is wrapped up near the 32-yard line. Well, let's go down to Lewis Johnson and a look at that Weber State defense.
Yeah, Kev, Jay Hill in the last time out made a rush down to the defensive line where they were sitting and telling them that they did a great job, loved that stand and turning the ball over on downs. Remember earlier in the week he said that they've got to be able to stop the run and make the quarterback beat him with his arm. So a big stand for them early in the game, and they're living off that right now.
Feet of Clark, and he'll hand off here to the near side, and they will sweep it, and Oregon State comes in there heavy with 3 defenders. Darrell Denby is immediately wrapped up at about the 31-yard line.
You talk to the defensive student athletes at Oregon State, they talk about flying to the football. And you can tell that it's become contagious. That last play, a great example. But they're seeing a lot of exotic formations, exotic shifts, exotic motions, things that aren't the standard with up-tempo teams. You don't really see that a lot in the Pac-12 conference. Nice job by Weber State trying to keep Oregon State off balance.
Utah last year led the conference in takeaways. It's something Kalani Sitake talks about a great deal, and that is stripping the ball, getting possession. You see some movement across the line.
Ball start. Number 65 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You can see Oregon State kind of ramping up their aggressiveness. They were going to bring another corner pressure there by Larry Scott from the boundary again. This is a lot of what Utah did back in the day with Kalani Sitake.
Weber State penalized for the 3rd time this afternoon. Brings up 2nd and 15 for Jadrian Clark with 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. Clark is back to throw, sets that back foot, and throws over the middle. His catch made. And at about the 36-yard line, Braden Corpus is upended.
I'll tell you what, the game plan by Steve Clark, the offensive coordinator for Weber State, it's impressive. He's going after specific matchups. Right, he had a more athletic slot receiver going up against the middle linebacker, Ramo Mangio, on that last snap. And a little hesitation route across the middle beat him. Now it's in a 3rd and manageable at least.
3rd and 6, Weber State 0 for 2 in 3rd down situations this afternoon. Denby the man in motion. Clark will check at the line. And now he's ready. Man coming open over the middle. That ball probably should have been caught, but converging defenders apparently caught the eye of the intended receiver that time. Cyril Nolan Lewis in coverage.
And they love Nolan Lewis's game. He's kind of waited his time. This is such a West Coast offense, meaning there's a lot of crossing routes happening. So for the linebackers, there's a lot happening in front of them. So the safeties need to play really well. And Cyril Nolan Lewis, probably their most complete player on defense.
Weber State will kick it away. Ramel Dockery eludes a defender. He's at the 30, the 35, and a burst of speed to the 40. Gets Oregon State in business. In good field position. Just inside their own 45-yard line. Well, Pac-12 Network's original series, The Drive, returns for its third season this year, featuring unprecedented access to the football programs of Oregon State and Utah. The season premiere is Wednesday, September 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make that 7 p.m. Pacific. And 8 p.m. Mountain. The Drive, presented by Lexus. And the new quarterback, just as promised, as Gary Anderson will alternate these two freshman quarterbacks. Marcus McMarion from near Fresno, California, redshirt freshman who watched Sean Mannion get the reps last year. He'll throw out to the far sideline on first down, and a gain of a few up to the 50-yard line. The receiver is Jordan Villeman.
Think about being these two guys right now. They were roommates last night. How about that? I mean, they're in the same meeting room. They're cheering one another on. We talked to them yesterday after the walkthrough, and they're both so excited for this opportunity.
Here's a handoff to the near side. Chris Brown gets the call, and he is wrapped up.
Now, what's most impressive about Marcus McMarion is the fact that he's still here. In the spring, there were 7 quarterbacks competing for this job. They came out of spring with 2. It was Seth Collins and Nick Mitchell, not Marcus McMarion, the guy on the right of your screen. He hung and worked all offseason, and the coaches said they just heard all the whispers. Yeah, Marcus is playing pretty good. Marcus is operating the offense at a high level. He came into camp and took it by storm.
3rd and 2, 11 seconds remaining in the first quarter. McMarion sets his feet. Tight rotation on this ball to the near side. Up for grabs and knocked down. And again, Weber State flying to the football. Devontae Johnson in coverage, getting in the air with Jordan Villeman to break that one up.
That's a big-time play by the senior captain, Devontae Johnson. You're fighting all the way through the ball, and he's not going to face a bigger, stronger receiver all year long than Jordan Villeman. Jordan Villeman, 6'5", 231 pounds, an absolute beast. And Devontae Johnson, he met him, he ran with him, and made a big-time play. And this staff feels as though they've got special corners to make plays. They've been doing it thus far for the most part.
Nick Perebski, the sophomore from Melbourne, will try to snuggle this one inside the 10. Denby, however, will fair catch at the 16, and that's where Weber State will take over. After the first quarter complete, no score here in Corvallis between the Beavers of Oregon State and the Weber State Wildcats here on the Pac-12 Network. Back with Yogi Roth, Lewis Johnson, Kevin Calabro on hand. We get set for the second quarter play here in Corvallis, Oregon. No score at the end of one. Weber State penalized 3 times in the first quarter, but Oregon State unable to capitalize. In fact, turn it over on downs when going for it on 4th down at the 20-yard line of Weber State. That's been the most threat that the Beavers have presented so far this afternoon to the Wildcats, who take over now, Yogi, at their own 16-yard line. Jadrian Clark will turn in the handoff. And again, the Wildcats go to the ground.
Cyril Nolan Lewis at the safety position, it's critical right now because what we're seeing happen is the confidence for Weber State continue to grow and grow and grow. And you get in these games, I've played in them when you play against a team that's been down or coached in them, and the last thing you want is them to get some confidence. And this drive, I think it's kind of a critical one. Obviously a lot of football left, but Weber State's not afraid right now against Oregon State.
Trayshawn Garrett picks up 6 for him. Here's a little toss on an inside sweep attempt. Daryl Denby had it. Ugwebu with the stop. Bright Ugwebu, 6'2", 217 from Katy, Texas, the redshirt freshman.
They're trying to recruit a lot of speed in this 3-4 defense that allows you to play guys like him on the outside, or the outside back, or the overhang position, where you can make those types of plays. And Ugwebu clearly did that. An athletic player, a young guy. You'll see a lot of young players, the 9th youngest team in the nation.
Brings up 3rd and 11 for Jadrian Clark, the junior from Lakeland, Florida. In the gun, they load up the right side of the line of scrimmage as he's back to throw. Finds a man coming clear out of the backfield. Missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, still on his feet, and then swarmed at about the 19-yard line. So Oregon State stops Weber State. They'll have to punt it away Devin Chappelle, the first man to the action, the nickelback from Springfield, Oregon.
It's a good defensive stand. First down, they caught a bust, big play on second down. They excel on third down, forcing them to punt. That's the type of defense that Gary Anderson wants to see his team play.
Keely Amakia back to punt. And he sends this one wobbling out of bounds near the Oregon State bench. And the Beavers take over with excellent field position. No score yet, just underway here in the second from Corvallis. Well, here at Oregon State, obviously they're turning over the controls of the offense to two freshmen who have, until today, not taken a collegiate snap in this game of football. You look at the 13 seniors, Yogi, as you mentioned, the youngest team in the Pac-12, and there's a whole lot of learning to be done.
There really is, and it was interesting what they did this summer to make sure that they did operate and learn. They didn't have a lot of 7-on-7 competitive offense-defense. They said, stay with your side of the ball, just drill our offense, our defense, so we can come to camp having mastered what we're doing.
On first down, Chris Brown will get the call. He bangs his way across the 45-yard line. Felipe Sitaki, you know that name, freshman from Orem, Utah, 6'1", 305.
What a night for that family, huh?
The Sitaki family. I don't think there was a lot of communication this week. Kalani says, not the usual communication we have before a ball game, but it is what it is. And we've got to play him. Brings up 2nd and 9. McMarion back to throw, rolling out, complete to the near side. Jordan Villeman, the sophomore from Fontana, California, has been busy, and he makes the catch.
They're going to try to feed Jordan Villeman the rock. I mean, this is a big-time wide receiver. Big mitts, the way he's grown this offseason. Look, the defender just kind of bounced off him. 6'5", 230. That's a big guy. I mean, kind of reminds you of Mike Williams back in the day. Remember him at USC? He's got that type of big play potential.
Played a bit for the Seahawks. This is first down now for Marcus McMarion, the redshirt freshman. He will throw. Beautiful tight spiral, hanging that one up near the 5-yard line, and incomplete. And a flag flies.
A late flag, clearly getting politic by the sideline of Oregon State. It's an interesting one. Is a hitch and go at the top of your screen, man-to-man. There it is. You can't grab him.
Pass interference. Number 5 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down.
I mean, that's the matchup. If you're a quarterback, you look out there, you got Victor Bolden, your returning leading receiver. He's got wheels. You know it's a double move. Took a run at the senior Devontae Johnson, and that's a great matchup to watch the rest of this evening. But the officials are all over the holding calls this year. Remember, a wide out on a DB, they can bang. But the minute the ball's in the air, that's when the officials try to make sure they can transition to calling PI or not.
Bolden, 72 catches a year ago, but got into the end zone just twice. First time he's been targeted this afternoon. In the backfield is Chris Brown. The handoff is to Brown, and another flag flies, and you saw movement up front.
False start. Number 56 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Isaac Sayamalu.
Right guards get
Please reset the game clock to 12:01. Thank you.
I mean, they made sure in training camp that he had limited reps in a lot of the scrimmage moments when they went live, just because he's kind of still coming back from that injury.
Broken foot.
Broken foot. He's played a lot of football here.
First and 15 in the ball, resting at the 25-yard line. In the gun, Marcus McMarion. And the handoff is to Brown, and he plows ahead, and he's able to move the line of scrimmage up near the 19-yard line. Trayvon Johnson came up to chop him down.
Now again, this is about your quarterback understanding the situations, understanding the offense. They run the fly sweep, and then it's the take system by Marcus McMarion. And again, just like Seth Collins in the first quarter, very similar situation. You're knocking on the door in the red zone. How do you manage and execute in these specific critical downs and distances?
2nd and 10. So the man in motion, left to right across the formation. The handoff is to Bolden. Then try to get him in space, and he's plowed under. At about the 17-yard line, maybe a gain of a couple on the play. Tevin Johnson again on the tackle. He's everywhere out there on the field.
He has, and this Weber State defense, they've been really sound. There's so much misdirection happening. The fly sweeps, the motions, the quarterback runs. Is he going to give it? Is he going to take it? They've really stayed home defensively. Again, Jay Hill coordinating this defense as the head coach, a disciple of Gary Anderson.
3rd and 6 in the red zone. Problem for Oregon State last year, trying to remedy that. A freshman quarterback at the controls. McMarion back to throw. He looks and he'll run, and he has wide open space. Pump fakes. Is he going to get to the marker? He won't. Terrific tackle at the far boundary that I believe prevents Oregon State from the first down. Josh Burton comes up and makes the stop.
His offensive line does a nice job in the pocket. There's really no reason to go. All the receivers are running the opposite way to the quarterback's right. Marcus McMarion the clock goes off in his head, but he had pass protection, and that's when he's going to go back and look at on film tomorrow. It's, he should have just stayed in the pocket.
Oregon State to kick, and Garrett Owens is back. To snap the hold, the kick is up, and the kick is good. And the Oregon State Beavers are on the board. They put 3 up there, and their first score of this new season comes off the foot of Garrett Owens. 3-0. Oregon State, a whole lot of football left and 10:22 left in the first half here on the Pac-12 Network. Garrett Owens has put Oregon State on the board, a field goal of 28 yards, and so the Beavers lead at 3-0, 10:22 to go here in this first quarter of play.
It's been competitive. You got to give Weber State a lot of credit. The team last year clearly struggled a lot under Jay Hill. They've come out and competed every single snap, and they've been pretty resilient.
Drew Batchelor is the man waiting under this one. He'll take it in the end zone, and he'll run it out. And he is swung under at the 19-yard line. Let's go to San Francisco for an update now from Anthony Herron. Thank you, Anthony. He's in the big seat this afternoon, Yogi, there in San Francisco.
Yeah, he is filling in very nicely there.
Got all the attendants to take care of him there. He's got his own green room. Only the best for Anthony. Here's the handoff for Weber State. They plow ahead on first down, and again have a couple on the play. Cameron Livingston out there. Wilkes, the ball carrier. Wilkes, the sophomore from Las Vegas. And Kyle Pecco again up front. Pecco excited to play. He has not played in the last couple of years, just trying to get academically eligible as he came over from junior college here. 2nd down and 7.
I'm going to the bottom of the screen. Livingston.
Trips to the right of Clark. And he is back to throw in that formation. That is just, destroyed over there. The ball is loose. Oregon State thinking the ball had actually been thrown backwards. And the officials didn't see it that way. Larry Scott just broke up that forward pass. Look at this. He just blew it up.
He knew it was coming before the receiver did. Clearly a forward pass, but Larry Scott, the commish they call him for obvious reasons, he's a proven commodity at the corner position. He's played a lot of football. He's the veteran there in the back end. And boy, you see how the fellas all jacked up about it now. Here we go. Another 3rd down. See if Scott can make another play.
Just one of 2 starting returners, or I should say starters returning to Oregon State's defense now. 3rd and 7. Here's Clark now getting set in the gun. Back to throw, hit as he throws, and that ball's up for grabs in the sunlight, and it flounders down there and incomplete near the 50-yard line. Joshua James got in there and put a jolt into Clark.
Tell you what, Kalani Sitake.
Oh, he loves that.
He loves that. It's man-to-man coverage across the board. He wanted to go to Livingston underneath. Cameron Livingston, man-to-man coverage. There was nothing there. They just kind of wanted to throw it up for grabs there at the end. Ball gets batted down or gets tipped. Kalani Sitake's got him going on the defensive front.
Joshua James a moment ago was Bright Ugwebu, who got to the quarterback as well, and so Weber State 4th to kick. It's been tumbling down to the 35, and that's where Oregon State will set up camp with 9:11 remaining in the first half from Corvallis. Big hit for the Beavers. They lead 3-0 with the ball. Stick around for the State Farm halftime report. Anthony Herron, Curtis Conway, Nick Aliotti, and Ronnie Lott back in the Pac-12 Network studios coming up at half. Yogi Roth, Kevin Calabro, Lewis Johnson on the scene here. Bright sunshine now in Corvallis. It was raining cats and dogs a couple of hours ago, and now Seth Collins is back in. He started the game for Oregon State. He's the freshman from San Diego, California. And on first down, he goes to work. He'll take it off to the left. Hurdles a tackler. He is across the 50-yard line to the far boundary to the 40. And he is headed up the field and into Weber State territory before Josh Burton knocked him down. There is a flag on the play. But Seth Collins arouses the crowd with this play right here, Yogi. Leaving his feet. That's not in the book, but he does it.
That's called recruiting 101.
Oh, man.
We saw it in the spring game.
Oh.
Unfortunately, there's a hole that's going to bring it back.
Now, that was Josh Burton who did everything right in getting himself set up for the tackle.
Holding. Number 13 offense. 10-yard penalty. It still will be 1st and 10.
That's Jordan Villman. What I love about the play, clearly athleticism, that's amazing. He's a freak in that regard. But he was just on the bench for a couple drives. He started the game, and then he let the keys be given to somebody else to drive this car. And he came back and said, no, I'm gonna let you know that I should be in the front seat all the time in the driver's side. And that was an electric play.
So it'll be 1st down and 10 after the penalty. Bring the ball back. And again, he'll fake the handoff. And again, he scoots to the far sideline. And this time he's chased out of bounds after a gain of a couple on the play. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson on the field.
Well, Kevin, Yogi, remember our conversations with Oregon State offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin talking about that fast start they hope to have. They didn't have that, but now things are beginning to get started. He also talked about shot plays, deep balls, trick plays, and then feeding the stud list. You got to think now at the second quarter when they only got 3 on the board from a field goal, they're going to try to find a way to get some points on the board, and right now Seth Collins maybe provide that electricity.
Well, here you will hand off to Storm Bars Woods, who certainly qualifies, I think, in the category of offensive stud. He plows ahead for a 1st down as he scoots across the 40-yard line. They have attempted to get the ball into the hands of Victor Bolden, and at the same time trying to work both quarterbacks into the flow. But let's go back to that move that he made a moment ago. Most coaches, I would say 99% of the coaches in America, Yogi, just buried their hands in their head right there, and they said, wait, you can't, you're not supposed to leave your feet. That's the rule, isn't it? Here is the handoff, and again they go to Bar Woods, and he is across the 35-yard line. So what about that? He leaves his feet, and coaches are going crazy watching
They're going crazy, but you got to be an instinctive athlete. He's a true freshman. I mean, this is a little different than playing in high school in San Diego County, right? This young man has gifts. He has unique traits, and they are his legs. They are his athleticism, his quick decision-making, clearly on display, even though that play got called back.
Seth Collins again goes to work, this time on 2nd and 5. And Storm will take it ahead and is knocked down shy of the 1st down.
I'll tell you what's impressive. The hidden element in this offense with Seth Collins at the quarterback position, because he's such a threat at the perimeter running game. That's the edges, right, where the outside linebackers stand. It allows the middle of the field, in between the tackles, to open up. And we've seen since that long drive that long play that got called back, they've ran between the tackles with Storm Bars Woods, converting down, keep moving the chains. I expect them to continue to do that.
3rd and 3, a lot of space to the right side here as they take it to the far hash, and they go to the right side. And there is a flag on the play. Storm Bars Woods plows ahead for a 1st down before he is upended.
Flag on the field.
Holding. Number 74 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, we talked to Coach Anderson yesterday. I said, what's one of the top keys? He said, we got to be able to manage critical situations. And that's when you're driving and you've got some momentum, you can't have these types of penalties. A couple holding penalties, nullifying big plays, 1st downs. And then we'll find out how resilient this young team is.
10-yard penalty makes it 3rd and 13.
3rd and 13 after the 10-yard penalty assessed to Oregon State. And the ball resting at Weber State's 42. Collins will roll out, heavy rush, and he is knocked down at the 45-yard line. Devontae Johnson and company on the play.
You know, if you love football, you really enjoy watching the schematics of this game, because we've seen Oregon State bring pressure from their corners. We've seen Now Weber State bring pressure from the corner as Johnson comes off the edge. These are two teams defensively trained by the same guy. They've all been trained by Kyle Whittingham. I mean, there's pressure coming from the edge. You saw it last night. And for Seth Collins, you got to know in the red zone when you're moving, no sacks, no picks. That's Cardinal rule number 1.
Denby back for Weber State. Poremski gets into this one and sends it up into the sunshine. Favorable hop, but can they get to it? And they do, knocking it down. Terrific special teams play applied by Oregon State. Collins, the electric quarterback from San Diego, hurdles the tackler, but it was called back. Oregon State leading 3-0.
And it's the defense of Oregon State that has been big time. Kyle Pecco up front, finally eligible to be able to play. Right, Owupe making big plays. Larry Scott, the commit, just sniffing out the bubble screen. They've been coming from every angle. Kalani Sitake's making sure his defense isn't giving up very much this evening.
And right now they can pin back their ears and really come at Weber State as they line up near the goal line, and they quickly are out of the shadow of the goalpost. They give it to a banger out there and let him go to work to the near side.
Oof. Corey Thompson. Yeah, that one sounded like it hurt. Justin Strong.
First down for Weber State with 5:16 remaining here in the half. Clark will hand off, and they give it to Wilkes to the near side. And he slants across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
This is just pure contact right here. Physical game. I hope he's all right. Strong and sophomore.
Thompson, 5'10", 215. Here's the handoff to Wilkes, straight up the middle. And he is surrounded. Bring up a third down. Pecco got shaken up on the play.
So many different formations and personnels. Got to give him credit. Trying to run up the middle. It's an attitude play, but the defensive line, the interior defensive line, Kyle Pecco, he's got the ability to be one of the top defensive linemen in the Pac-12 conference. Hope he's all right. He's a big part of this defense for Kalani Sitake and Gary Anderson.
Transfer from Cerritos Community College. And Solani told us it's a lot like Utah. We'll run 7 or 8 guys in there in that defensive line. We like to give you a lot of looks, keep our guys fresh up front.
Yeah, you'll see Ali'i Robbins from Hawaii. He'll step into his place in the middle.
Robbins, 6'3", 293. Clark goes to work now. Weber State 0 of 5 in third down conversions this afternoon. Clock running, 4:25 remaining in the half, and another flag. Oregon State previously had 3 penalties in their 7 plays.
Number 87 offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
And this time it goes against Weber State. They have been heavily penalized as well. That is their 5th of the afternoon. Jay Hill in his second year with his team. They were just a 2-win team a year ago.
That's tough because you know as a coach those types of things are going to happen week 1 just because of the newness of playing against a different opponent than yourselves.
Jadrian Clark, the junior from Lakeland, Florida, on 3rd and 6. Got hit as he threw that one, and it sails. And that's the 3rd time that he has had the wood applied. Caleb Salu from Kent, Washington, came in and made a resounding shot.
Well,
on Clark.
They bring 2 linebackers. Mango, you see him get picked up, but all of a sudden Salu, nobody accounts for him, and just a clean shot right at the quarterback. As a middle linebacker, the defensive coordinator, this is exactly how you draw it up. Force the center, Joe Hawkins, to pick one of them up. Sam and Mike, inside linebackers, both come. Big time play.
Keely Amakia again to punt, and a hard rush, and he hangs it out high. And Oregon State will fair catch at about the 45-yard line. Ramel Dockery right there at the 43. And again, the Beavers with excellent field position. Time now for the cold hard facts presented by Coors Light.
Well, you just look at the success that Mike Riley's had here. You know, compared to anybody else, this place has not been very easy to win with. And now you look at Gary Anderson coming. Now as the head coach here, I believe he is perfect for this place. I think it's an absolute steal to get him. In a recent poll, even by players, he was ranked the third most popular coach that student-athletes wanted to play for in the entire country. I think he's going to get this thing going. He's got a great demeanor about himself, great presence. I don't think this place is going to miss a beat.
Collins back to throw, and there's a flag thrown, and that is clearly interference. And Oregon State's going to get a break here. They're going to get that ball way down inside Weber State territory.
Pass interference. Number 5 defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. That's an automatic first down.
You got to give Dave Baldwin credit. They're taking shots they said they wanted to. This is simple man-to-man. Time there's contact when the ball's in the air with the receiver trying to come back, they're going to call that defensive pass interference. Can understand the argument by Johnson. He's an aggressive player.
Marked off 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage. And here's a sweep to the near side. Trying to make something out of nothing right there. And unable to do so is Victor Bolden. And that's now a couple of times they have tried to swing him around from the end, Yogi, and Weber State has been equal to the task, and they've hemmed him in.
Well, every time they've ran that play to the field, it's been sniffed out. You got to think, if you're going to play a team like Oregon State, whether it's with Gary Anderson as the head coach or Mike Riley as the head coach, the fly sweep was kind of originated here to a large degree. Remember back in the day, they'd run it for days with the Rogers brothers, right? Marcus Wheaton, he was electric at it. Brandon Cooks, Victor Bolden's kind of in that mold. So that's his skill set, but completely sniffed out.
Timeout, Oregon State. They want to think about it. And so Seth Collins will come over here and meet with Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator. 2:57 left here in the first half. Second down and 11 for Oregon State. And last night, I had the opportunity, like many of you, to see Travis Wilson go to work at home against Michigan. He did a terrific job last night, as did Anu Solomon in the win over Texas San Antonio.
Well, he really did. I mean, Travis Wilson, new offensive coordinator for every year of his career. Finally, we've talked about it a lot. Aaron Roderick, their co-offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, allowing Travis Wilson to settle in, play probably his most complete game, answered the bell. Anu Solomon, 4 touchdown passes, 4 different receivers. They held off UTSA, had to deal with the emotional loss of Scooby Wright, hoping he'll be all right. And for Colorado, a really disappointing loss over in Hawaii. Michael Atkins, one of the bright spots there, but that was the game that the Buffs were hoping to get started this season under Mike McIntyre.
After the timeout, Collins goes to work. They fake the handoff. The defense bites, and he is able to maneuver his way across the 30-yard line as the defense swarmed to storm Bars Woods in that situation. But the quarterback keeper, good for the first down.
You can talk to any defensive coordinator, any defensive coach in the country, at any level of football, and ask them, what's the hardest thing to stop? QB runs. Because you have to account for the quarterback. You've got to be gap sound, and that is one of the most difficult things to do in this day and age of up-tempo college football.
Collins back to throw, and he is racked up as he decides to tuck and go. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be interesting to watch what this staff does as Seth Collins continues his career here. They want to be able to throw the football. You're going to have to when you get in the Pac-12 conference play. And he needs to grow in that regard, but the pocket gets collapsed, and another welcome to big-time college football.
Yep. Rayshon Henderson up front wrapped him up. So it brings up 2nd and 11. Clock running, 2:05 remaining in the half. Storm Bars Woods, stutter step at the line of scrimmage, puts his head down and plows across the 25. He's shy of the first down.
Incredible patience. You know, he kind of reminds me of how he looked as a freshman when he was bursting out of the scene. Patient at the line of scrimmage, little hesitation step to set up his blocks. This is a guy who understands this is his last year here. He's excited to leave this program on a good note.
8 carries, 33 yards. Villeman lines up wide here to the near side on 3rd and 3. Bars Woods, the man in the backfield. Collins stumbles as he tries to work here to the near boundary and upended shy of the first down. Mark this one at about the 21-yard line.
His feet kind of get tangled up here. Good pursuit by this defense, though, of Weber State. They've really stayed home for the most part on a lot of the perimeter runs.
So the ball marked at the 22. It'll be spotted at the 30. Here is the snap, the hold, the kick is up, and the kick is good. A 40-yard field goal to go with a 28-yarder earlier this afternoon. Garrett Owens, sophomore from Arroyo Grande, California, putting Oregon State again on the board. And the Beavers leading 6-0.
You got to take the points. You know, the right move.
That's right.
With the time on the clock, and now it's going to be big for this defense. Just don't give up any big plays. Right, 48 seconds left. Kick it deep, play sound defense, get to the half, and get the ball coming out in the third quarter.
And if you're Weber State, Yogi, you want to use that clock going to half on the road, knowing you're down 6-0 to a Pac-12 team halftime in game one. And the defense for Jay Hill, I think, has obviously been a big plus. Did you expect this kind of performance from when you analyze this game and watch tape?
No, you go back and you watch their film from a year ago, and they improved every single week. They got more competitive and won 2 out of their last 3, but to come in here and play, clearly it's a different caliber of athlete to a large degree. It speaks to the staff and how they're coached.
So Weber State, after the kickoff, will get set at the 21-yard line here with 43 seconds remaining in the first half.
21-yard run back for Bachelor.
Weber State, Ogden, Utah, enrollment of 26,000 there.
And they call it the Utah way in terms of building a program, whether you're at Weber State, Utah State, BYU, Utah. They told us yesterday, talking to Gary Anderson, talking to Jay Hill, of you recruit in state really well. You build a really strong mission program. When student athletes come back from their mission, you make sure you develop them back into the program. You have a very veteran team and be really physical on defense. And that's what they've done, as well as develop a big Polynesian pipeline. Yep. Both of these programs have done that. Clearly that's happened at other schools in Utah. But they call it the Utah way, and that was really interesting in terms of all the coaches kind of embody that within that state.
Here they are at first down. They'll keep it on the ground. And again, Oregon State quick to the line of scrimmage and quick to get to the football. Grimble comes up to make the stop. Jalen Grimble, the senior from Las Vegas, Nevada.
He's been banged up a little bit. He looks the part, though. And I'll tell you what I love about Kalani Sitake. Talking to him yesterday, he said every one of our positions every week is up for grabs. Jalen Grimble was a projected starter. Didn't start today. So how will he do in this game? How will he do next week?
Sitake, 10 years at Utah, 6 as the defensive coordinator, took over for Gary Anderson. He said, you know, there's a time in life when you have to move on. He moves on with nothing but best wishes for Utah and Kyle Whittingham. Timeout on the field, and it is run out here in the first half. So 6-0 your score. Oregon State leading at half. And Oregon State sharing, of course, the quarterbacking duties to the 2 freshmen.
Well, I thought they were both efficient. Seth Collins clearly the more explosive of the 2, but Marcus and Marion didn't get as many opportunities. Would expect to see both of them in the second half.
Let's head down to the field. Lewis Johnson standing by with Gary Anderson.
Well, Coach, your thoughts on the way your 2 quarterbacks played here in the first half?
Well, as an offense, we're not very good. That's the bottom line. Thought Seth had some nice plays. We kill ourselves with penalties. Talked about it all camp. Administrative penalties, penalties in the red zone. It's been a problem for a long time around here, and it ain't changed apparently. So until we change that, we're not going to be a good offense.
So how do you go in and jumpstart your team so when they come back in the third quarter, you put more than 3 points on the board and 2 field goals?
We're going to talk about it, and we'll see when they execute it. Doesn't matter what you talk about, it matters what you do.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Kevin?
Thank you, Lewis. Gary Anderson not happy with the offense in the first half. It is halftime here in Corvallis. We'll take it Anthony Herron in the Pac-12 Network studio. He will sort it all out with his gang halfway through here on the Pac-12 Network. Oregon State on top of Weber State 6-0 halfway through here in Corvallis, Oregon. Yogi Roth, Kevin Calabro, Lewis Johnson aboard as well. Welcome back. Gary Anderson was not a happy man when he talked to Lewis Johnson at the end of the half. He alluded to the penalties. Coaches don't like penalties.
Well, no. I mean, that's something you can control. You can't control your roster. You can't control if there's a better athlete going up against a more talented athlete. But you can control penalties. Last year, they were 120th in the nation in terms of penalties per game, about 9 penalties per game. You know, some big ones in this first half. They can't do that. They've got to convert on third down. Things that you hope that you drill into your team, that in critical situations you can find success. They have not had that. That shouldn't sit well with Gary Anderson, and it should not sit well with the student athletes.
Upside, they put a lot of pressure on Jadrian Clark, the quarterback at Weber State.
Well, Kalani Sitake, he's going to come after you. You know, this is a 3-man front now. That means they've got more athletes on the field. They brought pressure internally. They brought it from the linebackers. They brought it from the outside of the corner position. I mean, this is a defense that Gary Anderson helped build at Utah years ago, trained Kalani Sitake, and this defense has gotten after it.
Jay Hill is the coach of Weber State, was once recruited by that man, Gary Anderson, and Lewis Johnson is standing by.
Well, Coach, what did it mean for your defense to hold Oregon State to 2 field goals in the first half?
Well, that was big for them. We were facing field position issues the whole first half. I mean, they had good field position the whole time. The defense withheld some hard charges at them. You know, a couple penalties helped us, and we had a couple sacks that threw them off. So anyway, it was big for us.
Now, offensively, how do you get things going? You had 6 penalties, and you were 0 for 6 on third down.
Yeah, we got to get things going. Obviously, we're 1 touchdown away from leading this game. We just got to get something going, and we're 1 big play away.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Kevin?
Thank you very much, Lewis. So as the shadows are cast here at Corvallis, Reeser Field, beautiful, beautiful evening settling in here. Jadrian Clark gets set for another opportunity, another crack at Oregon State. A youthful team from the Pac-12, and Weber State, of course, out of the Big Sky. Right now, on the road, trailing 6-0, they will kick off to the Oregon State Beavers. Touchback, they'll take it back to the 20-yard line. Take a look at the numbers in the first half.
Well, there's the big one, right? Really, for both teams. You know, it comes down to execution when it really matters. You know, Oregon State, they've moved the ball between the 20s for the most part. They've killed themselves with penalties, not executing in the red zone. They went for it in the first quarter on a 4th down, didn't get that 4th and short, trying to get 7 points instead of taking the 3. But ultimately, this is scary right now to a degree because Weber State's playing with some confidence. If you're Oregon State right now, you've got to come out strong, and clearly they come out with Seth Collins back at the quarterback position.
And the ball marked obviously at the 25-yard line, and this is where Collins will go to work. He started the game, and he will start the second half, and he is flushed out of the pocket and throws before he is knocked down at the far boundary, so it brings up 2nd down and 10.
It's tricky right now when you're an offensive coordinator. You want to make sure that you're doing what your players do really well in Seth Collins. He's had a lot of success in their perimeter run game. I'd go back to that with him. You have a combination of him and Storm Woods, a little bit of the outside passing lanes, but I don't know how much I'd roll him out because they haven't had a lot of success outside of 1 3rd down.
Bolden, the man in motion, but they hand off to Storm Bars Woods, who hesitates at the line of scrimmage and then churns ahead across the 30-yard line and a gain of a few on the play.
And that's what this team wants to be. They want to be an attitude team under offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin. They do return their offensive lineman. Obviously a big boost with Isaac Sayamalu playing the right guard position. I think they've got to keep running the football and attacking with the perimeter runs with their quarterback Seth Collins if they want to get a little more comfortable in this game because they need to score points.
34 plays in the first half for Oregon State and 17 minutes time of possession. They sweep it here to the near side. Victor Bolden is run out of bounds at the near boundary, and he got across to the 36-yard line, and that's a first down for the Beavers.
Yeah, the last 3 plays are exactly what we're talking about. Run game in between the tackles. Utilize the perimeter running attack with Victor Bolden. Try to get the ball in your playmaker's hands, and then give him a little dose of Jordan Villeman when you can on the outside.
2 for 8 down, 2 of 8 now in 3rd down situations for the Beavers. Collins will turn, and the handoff comes again to Bars Woods and works his way across the 40-yard line.
Perfect. Exactly what you want to do on first down. Get yourself into an easy 2nd down situation for this young quarterback. Keep pounding the rock. Follow that big left tackle, Sean Harlow.
Bars Woods from Texas took on his mother's last name, Bars. And a tribute to her and his upbringing. This is Collins running for his life along the near sideline. And again, beautiful play action. Weber State bites. Jonathan Carlson able to drag down the quarterback of Oregon State, but not before he is into Weber State territory with a first down.
Love what they're doing on offense. I mean, they're running basically 3 types of plays on this entire drive. Quarterback ability to keep it, give it with the fullback tight end as a lead blocker, or the perimeter run. Again, playing to Seth Collins' strengths.
This time they bounce Bar Woods out to the far side, and he is able to maneuver to the 40-yard line. Felipe Sataki in hot pursuit drags him down.
Felipe Sataki, how great is that? Going up against Kalani.
Yosua Opeta in the action as well up front. 2nd and 5 for the Beavers, far hash mark. Keeper and a toss to the near side. Seth Collins getting rid of that one into the hands of Ramel Dockery, who's the man in motion.
Keep an eye on Victor Bolden right here at the bottom or the middle of the screen in the slot. Asked him yesterday, what's the one area you worked on all off season? He goes, blocking. I need to get better in that regard. He's not the biggest of guys, standing only at about 5'9", 175 pounds. But he went to work in that area, and to play in this system under Brent Brennan, their wide receiver coach, you got to be able to block. And I think that's an area where the receivers have quietly developed.
3rd and 2, and they load up the right side of the line of scrimmage with a tight end and a man in motion in the slot, and then they roll out Collins. He throws over the middle. That's Victor Bolden, his 2nd catch of the afternoon, and he comes down for the Beavers. Now they are moving.
They bring corner pressure to Seth Collins' left. He runs out to his right. Everything kind of gets, you just can't coach that. That's a guy who's been playing sports his entire life. Talked to a lot of coaches. I can remember Pete Carroll telling me all the time, you want to pick your quarterback sometimes it's just the guy you'd pick in the backyard. Who's the first guy that you'd pick? I picked Seth Collins.
Here's Collins in the gun. He's back. He turns up the middle, and he got clobbered and may have lost the football. Weber State indicating that they have the football down at their own 23-yard line. Trayvon Johnson made the first big jolt on Seth Collins.
Well, this is exactly what offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin told us yesterday about his quarterback. He knows he loves to run. He said, hey, I got to teach him just to slide. That's what happens there. Strong collision with Trayvon Johnson.
And Oregon State able to hang on to the ball somehow. Collins was able to reach out, grasp that, then they immediately go back to the line of scrimmage, and Yogi, they don't get thrown out of sorts at all. They were very cool, calm, and collect. They were able to get to the line of scrimmage, churn ahead for a first down, and here they are now at the 20-yard line. Turning the handoff, that's Brown, hesitates, breaks a tackle, leans forward to the 11-yard line. Chris Brown, the 200-pound workhorse from Fresno, California.
Now, for Weber State fans that are wondering why that play wasn't reviewed when Seth Collins fumbled, it's because of the new replay system. They're seeing it in real time. The ground caused the fumble. They said move on.
They again go to Brown. He works his way, sifting down the line, bouncing out off tackle, right side, and he is nailed at the 10-yard line.
It's really great what they've done with that new replay system, Kevin. You know, the officials up in the box, they can see everything. They got every angle in real time, immediately being able to communicate down to the field. Nope, don't review it. Ground caused the fumble. 2nd down.
Speeds up play.
That's right.
So it's 3rd and 1. Again, they summon Brown, and again he answers the call, and he is able to work his way across the line of scrimmage, sift his way down to the 7, and that's a first down.
With Chris Brown out of Fresno, California, they were not sure if he was even going to play. He's kind of been banged up. They thought they might not get him back till about week 3, but he's been full contact the last few days in practice. He's kind of that plugger type of running back, 5'10", a little bit of 200 and change.
1st and goal to go. Ball resting at the 7 for Oregon State. Little misdirection. And with results inside the 5-yard line. Null, the ball carrier.
And Null's a guy who got a lot of playing time because Chris Brown had been banged up in training camp and kind of came out of nowhere. Got a lot of reps. He said we like him because he can play that H-back position, can play running back, can play fullback. He's a guy in this system that has a lot of versatility.
Second and goal, ball resting at the 4-yard line now with 9:08 to play here in the third. Oregon State leading 6-0. Collins, the quarterback, under center, the toss, and Brown shoestring down at the 5-yard line. Mitch Tulane, the sophomore from Syracuse, Utah. Yogi with very good technique in the open field.
Big time, and that's basically student body left. I mean, everybody kind of knew it was Garrett. They shifted motion from under center, just a quick toss out. Tulane, nice tackle to save a touchdown because it was him or Pater.
Jay Hill, their coach, a cornerback of some merit. All Mountain West back in 98-99 playing for the Utes. And his emphasis is on D. Here's Bolden. Across the formation, he's wide open and a touchdown. Beautifully executed play. Seth Collins finding Bolden coming out from the near side to the far side. And the touchdown for Victor Bolden, who had 2 all of last year.
You talk about having to play Pac-12 conference caliber football. You've got to be able to execute on critical downs and distances in the red zone at the quarterback position. And we've seen that time and time again here at Oregon State with a variety of different players.
Well, whatever Gary Anderson said at half, it stuck. 16 plays, 75 yards, 6:47. Time of possession, no miscues, no penalties. And they did it quickly. Oregon State takes the lead 13-0 here on the Pac-12 Network. Oregon State on top. 16-play, 75-yard drive. Time of possession, 6:47. Victor Bolden on the receiving end. This drive summary presented by 76.
Well, what's so impressive about that is in the first half they ran 34 total plays. On that drive, it's 16. And to not have any miscues, not have any mental errors, that was an impressive drive by Seth Collins, the true freshman quarterback, and really Dave Baldwin, how he called it. The variety of runs they had, Storm Woods, they really utilized a lot of different plays. Chris Brown, when they got into the red zone, mixing it up.
This is a wobbler. Will come to the up back for the Wildcats. And they'll have it at the 33-yard line.
All right, so let's go back and look at this touchdown. Keep an eye on Jordan Villeman, the receiver at the top, and then the corner, Teron Johnson. Okay, you'll see the fly motion by Victor Bolden's man-to-man coverage. Now, one would call this a relative pick play back in the day, but what's so great right there is that Villeman allows both DBs, Devontae Johnson, Teron Johnson, to run into one another. So clearly a clean play. Officials are all over those types of plays in the red zone. That's great coaching by wide receiver coach Brent Brennan to making sure that Jordan Villeman understands how to utilize his body. He's 6'5", 231 pounds, to put himself in between his defender and the defender playing man coverage on Victor Bolden. That right there was clinic work by Victor Bolden and Jordan Villeman.
Jadrian Clark, the junior in the gun for the Wildcats. On first down, throws over the middle, and a first down into Oregon State territory. Drew Batchelor makes the catch.
If there's one thing they've done a really nice job of in this offense at Weber State is attacking the middle of the field, going after Ramal Mangyao. They're playing zone defense. He's the middle linebacker. A lot of space right there. Not great in coverage. They get behind him to convert that big completion.
Wobbly throw, but grabbed. And a nice catch looking up into the sun. Cody Alofson, the junior from Boise, Idaho, makes the grab.
Impressed with Jadrian Clark. You know, he's done a nice job. He's staying in the pocket. In this West Coast system, there's always an opportunity to take a shot, but he's done a nice job of getting to his third progression, his third receiver in his progression, checking the ball down, taking a 4-yard gain, 3-yard gain.
After their longest play of the game, a 20-yard hookup to Batchelor. Brings up 2nd and 7. Clark throws over the middle, and a flag thrown on the play. Concurrent with the ball coming to the receiver, intended there to Cameron Livingston. In coverage was Hungala.
Again, attacking those backers.
Pass
of Oregon
interference.
State.
Number 55 to the defense. That's an automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
The receiver, they call it a jerk route. You kind of run to the middle, kind of get a little herky-jerky, and then you continue on across the field. They've really attacked Oregon State in the middle of their defense a lot this evening.
Clark 7 of 13, 46 yards. Weber State has yet to score. They were trailing 6-0 at half. First drive of the third, Oregon State goes down the field. And they try to sweep it. And that was immediately diagnosed out there by Chappelle.
Devin Chappelle playing the nickel. They love playing a lot of nickel defense here at Oregon State. Former walk-on, they really like him. He can play all the defensive back positions. Transfer from Western Oregon. Transfers up to prove that he could play at this level. He did so in camp. Really impressed his staff on the defensive side of the football.
Chappelle from nearby Springfield, Oregon. A junior this year, so it brings up 2nd and 12 now for Weber State. Clark, hard rush, throws far side and complete. Drew Batchelor again with the catch. He's driven out of bounds inside the Oregon State 30-yard line by Caleb Saulo.
Really nice job by both the receiver and quarterback, understanding where pressure is coming from. When you know blitzes are coming, you know you want to get rid of the football really quickly. So you can watch the receiver as Batchelor turns his eyes around extremely quickly. Clark gets the ball on him fast, and now it's third and manageable.
3rd and 2, and Weber State 0 for 6 in third down conversions this afternoon. Clark is under center, turns, fakes the handoff, hard rush, avoids a tackler, throws, nearly intercepted but broken up. And it brings up 4th down for Weber State. Treston Dakoud was the man that was near that ball on the far sideline, and a hard rush applied as well, but Clark was able to negotiate by.
Well, I'll tell you what a nice job of Kalani Sitake. He's been bringing pressure from the boundary all night long, especially from the cornerback position. Treston Dakoud, he makes the quarterback Clark just kind of hesitate for a minute, allows the defense to recover, almost get a pick.
45-yard opportunity that is squibbed and no good. So Weber State comes out of that stalled. Oregon State comes out of that with the ball and a 13-0 lead with 5:39 left in the third from Corvallis. Jay Hill looks on after Weber State's drive stalled and an attempt at a field goal knocked down, and the ball spotted for Oregon State inside their own 30-yard line.
Seth Collins back at the quarterback position. Successful drive, 16-play touchdown drive.
Fakes the handoff, finds a man coming clear out of the backfield. And the completion made. Out there to Garrett. Check that. Sands making the catch.
They love Deltron Sands. True freshman, one of the young guys that we play here from Pompano Beach, Florida. Really explosive guy. Has had some issues with pass protection, as all freshmen do. But he's got big play potential.
Bolden in motion. He fakes the handoff. Collins will keep, and he's tugged down at the 35-yard line.
And I think right now, well, you got to win the game if you're Oregon State, and that's the focus. So you got to do what's been working. And the quarterback run game has been great. I mean, Seth Collins, he's made someone miss. He's always had positive yardage. The young man's done a nice job in the run game, making the proper reads, when to give, when to take it. And I think that's the way you've got to ride this young man out for the majority of this game.
3rd and 3. Hard rush, and the ball off the receiver's fingertips. I'm not sure that was going anywhere had he made the catch. Deltron Sands, the intended receiver there, but Weber State right there in the vicinity.
Well, look, if you're Weber State, what you want is to put Seth Collins in passing situations, and when that happens, bring pressure so he can never set his feet, which is exactly what happened there.
Josh Burton got over there in coverage.
Borewski in the punt. Denby back to receive.
Borewski back to punt this one with 4:42 remaining in the third. California is waiting. And fortuitous to Weber State. Got him another 5 yards. They'll set up at the 36 when we come back. In the sunshine here in Corvallis. Beavers on top 13-0. Weber State football now with 4:33 to go in the third. Clark fakes the handoff and throws to a man coming out of the backfield. Take a look at the AP top 10. The Pac-12 with 6 teams in the top 25. Oregon and USC, the headliners, in the top 10.
Well, tomorrow night's going to be really unique to watch. That Oregon game, we get to call it. Vernon Adams playing his old team, Eastern Washington coming to town. And this has never happened before in the history of college football when someone transfers up and in the first game they play the team they used to play. No, by the way, didn't get there till about a third of the way through training camp, and he won the job at the quarterback position, replacing one of the greats, Marcus Mariota.
Had 2 weeks to get up to speed. And Scott Frost was installing and downloading madly. They just kind of plugged him into a computer, Vernon Adams, and he was able to absorb all that information.
I had a chance to talk to him earlier today, and he told us that the first few days felt really comfortable, and then he started struggling a little bit, as all players do when they get in that middle part of training camp. And then it started clicking, and when it started clicking, he could play fast, and that's when he really took control of the position.
Jadrian Clark goes to work here on 3rd and 8. 5 starts last year with this Weber State team, and he was a starter in both of their wins a year ago. They were 2-10 and 2-6 in conference. Here's a pass over the middle, broken up beautifully around the 40-yard line. Olfson was the intended receiver.
Just watch the offense and defensive line. For all the big guys out there, the people love everything up front, look at that penetration. Are you kidding me? I mean, and that's what should be happening all game long. The defensive line at Oregon State is stronger than the offensive line of Weber State. That's the type of tenacity that Gary Anderson hopes to see.
Ramel Dockery looks right up into that brilliant sunshine and lets that ball bounce. And Oregon State will have to go to work down at their own 6-yard line when we come back with 3:30 left here in the third, and the Beavers leading 13-0. Marcus Marion now the quarterback for Oregon State, taking over for Seth Collins as the two go back and forth. The two freshmen who have, previous to today, never taken a collegiate snap. McMarion, of course, on the scout team a year ago. Redshirt freshman watched Sean Mannion orchestrate the offense. Seth Collins has led them to a sustained drive for a touchdown, and now it's Marcus McMarion in there, and the unenviable task of going to work here at his own 6-yard line. He sends Victor Bolden in motion through the formation and then drops back to pass. Ball tipped, intercepted, and a touchdown. Ball tipped, grabbed by Josh Burton, who rolls into the end zone for a touchdown. Devontae Johnson got his mitts on it and tipped it. Josh Burton did the rest right into the end zone on the first play of scrimmage down there at the 6-yard line.
Well, on one hand, a really impressive play by Weber State's defense. I mean, this drive, they easily could have said, oh, Oregon State, away they go. They've had success the last few drives, and they came out with some juice. Big-time play by Johnson, and then Burton taking it to the house.
And just like that, Weber State on the board and back within 6 points.
And complete disappointment on the other side of your Oregon State. McMarion, you finally get your shot. Only your 10th snap of the game compared to 44 by Seth Collins because he had that long drive. You come in, you run this inside screen. I think it's one of the hardest plays in all of college football for quarterbacks to run. The cadence and the coordination of the offensive line getting out on the screen, the receiver coming back to the ball. Jordan Villeman, as short-handed, as big of a target as you could find. Ball gets tipped, it's a little high. And all of a sudden, Weber State, a little confidence. And I hope they go back to Marcus McMarion. I hope he gets another run at it because he's earned it through training camp. And just because the way the game has flowed, Seth Collins has gotten the majority of the plays.
Burton with the interception. He had 3 a year ago. The two quarterbacks confirmed. Meantime, Burton being congratulated by his teammates. The junior from Roseland, Louisiana, named the team captain. All Big Sky a year ago.
He's an impressive young man. I mean, been playing the piano at his dad's church for years, and he can't even read music. He just can hear it just kind of jam out, man. He's got that smoothness thing going on. Separated his shoulder, as you mentioned, a year ago. Now he's back. You're happy for Weber State and how they're playing. I mean, they've been competing. This is a team, clearly. We were there a year ago when they played Arizona State in their opener, and it was a completely different story.
Beavers touchback to bring it to the 25-yard line, and that is where I presume Marcus McMarion will go back to work. Take a look again at the play and how it all develops.
It's Devontae Johnson who really makes the play. I mean, he's been all over the field all night, a couple PIs, but him and Velleman have been going back and forth time and time again. He's the senior captain, big-time talent. Jay Hill feels he's got next-level type of ability at the corner position, and he hasn't backed down for a moment going up against Velleman. He's followed him all night long.
Well, they go back to Seth Collins. So Marcus McMarion will stay on the sideline, and Collins will come back out. He'll get this opportunity on this series of downs with 3:24 remaining in the third. Angles a pass here to the near side and underthrew that one, and incomplete.
You know, here's the challenge right now. If you're Seth Collins, this is not your game. You see Nick Mitchell, the third-string quarterback. He was competing for the mix here, but Seth Collins' game is not drop back and throw the stick route to the outside, throw a hitch route to the outside, but there's going to be times where you're going to have to do that. You've got to throw guys open if you want to win in this conference. And as this game gets tighter and tighter and later, he's going to have to make a couple of those completions.
Collins 7 of 12 completions. He'll fake the handoff rollout, and with that speed get to the edge and picks up a couple of yards on the play, but got hit hard over there at the far side.
And if you're Weber State now, you've got to win on first down just to try to take the confidence out. And you feel for Marcus McMarion, his body language, not necessarily what you want right now. There's so much you put into this game, into that position. There's so much hype around this game. I had a chance to talk to him yesterday. So excited. And we know Gary Anderson. I don't think it's over at that position. He'll get his opportunity again. But right now, it's a tight game. It's less than a score.
And next week's opponent is Michigan, and in the big house. You got a couple of freshmen looking toward that. How would you not look toward that? 4 of 5 third down situations here in the second half. The pass complete. That for a first down. And a beautiful job by Hunter Jarman to come back to the ball. He is the sophomore from Waco, Texas. But there is a flag on the play down near the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 50 offense, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
And that kills you because it's Josh Mitchell, the guy who pretty much does everything right in the middle of your screen. Yep, right at the end, trying to do everything, and he knows it, tries to let go late.
Yep. Mitchell, whose brother Nick Mitchell's third on the depth chart at the quarterback position, who was actually second on the depth chart coming into spring ball.
Yep.
So Collins at the controls now on 3rd and 18. He is rushed, he is flushed, he comes to the near side, and he has a lot of green ahead of him. He's to the 30, and then trying to lunge forward to the 35, where he was quite aware where the first down marker was. He's going to come up about a yard shy. Trayvon Johnson came up to hit him.
Well, they know pressure's coming to the left. You see it at the bottom of your screen. Seth Collins climbs the pocket, and he is out. And he's got the ability to make the first down. I'll tell you what he needs to do. You got to put the ball in your left hand so you have a weapon in your right arm. He's got to be careful with the football. That's the second time when he's gone down, the ball's popped out. And granted, both of them have been caused by the ground. But there's going to be one of those that has the ability to get popped out. In a close game, those are the things you cannot do.
Nick Poremski to punt. This one sails down to the 15-yard line. Weber State to take over at the 23-yard line on the return by Darrell Denby. Oregon State with Sean Mannion at the controls. for 4 years. Quite a contrast now as you have a couple of freshmen trying to earn playing time. Mannion, 3rd round pick of the NFL and playing for the St. Louis Rams.
I can tell you, it doesn't seem that far long ago where we were calling his games and he was a redshirt freshman. You know, and that's very similar to where this team is now with the youth at that position. But Sean Mannion, just a dominant player at this position, masterful in the pro-style offense. I think he's going to have a really long career in the NFL because kids coming out of college, they don't have the knowledge that he had, that he learned from Mike Riley, from understanding defenses and progressions and all those elements.
Delay handoff, and this is going to work. Weber State, a gain of about 9 yards on the play.
And Sean Mannion, he's all over the record book here at Oregon State, also in the Pac-12 conference, most yards in the history of the conference. And you start looking at those quarterbacks, when here we are on the 100-year anniversary, and there's a lot of talented guys. And Sean Mannion, he's played well on big stages, and really how he matured. The son of a coach, been around the game, a football junkie his whole life. Had a chance to see him this summer before he went to training camp, and couldn't be more excited about what's happening here at Oregon State and also what's happening in his own career.
Jadrian Clark fakes the handoff, goes one-on-one, and is knocked down at the 35-yard line. Cyril Nolan Lewis chopped him down, a junior from Ruston, Louisiana.
I think there's two things that Weber State needs to make sure they do as we get into the end of this quarter and then obviously into the fourth. They've got to take a shot. They have not stretched the field all night long. We've called Cameron Livingston's name a couple times, and it's because he's been a blocker. They attempted maybe 1 or 2 passes to him. I mean, they need to utilize him as a wide receiver. You see him at the top of your screen.
Clark's longest completion came here in the second half, a 20-yard hookup with Drew Batchelor.
And the second thing is to work the middle of the field like they did just right there. They, I think, have been dominant at those matchups, going up against those middle linebackers in between the hashes. So we'll see. It's going to be exciting here as we get into the fourth. And what do they call it, Kev? Pac-12 after dark? 13-7 here at Research Stadium. Tune in.
Let's take a look at the Red Vine sweet moment.
Ooh, and this one is sweet right there. Look at that. About 5'9", clearly hurdling. It's like jumping over Mike Yam right there. How about that, Seth Collins? He's electric, and I'll tell you what, we got a game right now. When they get the ball back on offense, this is going to be unique for Seth Collins. Look at his body language right now compared to Marcus McMarion. He wants the ball back. He shouldn't get the keys for the whole season, but right now in this game, he needs to lead this team on a drive if they can get the ball back.
3rd and 2 for Weber State. Clark is back. He is rolling. He is flushed. He throws. Intercepted. Oregon State football inside Weber State territory. Manashi Hunalu, the sophomore from Kona, Hawaii.
I don't know where he's throwing the ball. I mean, nobody's there. Receiver kind of gets bumped up. I could see why they'd be complaining, but remember, the rule for the Weber State fans, the rule is that until the ball leaves the quarterback's hands, you can have some contact. Now, that one will be debated for sure. Jay Hill definitely not happy about that.
Unalu with the pick on 3rd and 2 for Weber State, and so Oregon State will take possession of the football, and Collins is the quarterback again. Fakes the handoff, 40, hard cut, tripped himself up, but dives ahead for what could be the first down inside the 35-yard line.
Can we get 2 sweet plays? I'll tell you what, look at this guy. Here comes the corner pressure, Johnson, whoop! Just jukes him, and away he goes, and I think he's cramping up. This is going to be interesting to watch. Grabs his calf immediately.
And gets to the line of scrimmage here for what will be 1st and 10. And the handoff comes to Brown, and Brown strings him along inside the 25, and he's got a first down for Oregon State.
When you study these types of offenses, up-tempo spread teams, when you get the quarterback run game going, it opens up the middle. This is exactly what Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, has attacked.
Collins, a true freshman. The handoff again is dialed into Brown, who drags a tackler ahead across the line of scrimmage, and a pickup of a couple. Brown has been invaluable to Oregon State here this afternoon, getting those hard yards, 5'10" and 202. On the road next week at Michigan. Oregon State's Dave Baldwin trying to dial it in again, as he did at the start of the third quarter. Hands off to Brown, bounces left side. He's got one man to beat. Burton is out there in coverage, knocks him down at the 10-yard line, but a flag is thrown back here near the line of scrimmage.
Out near the 10-yard line, flag down.
And that one's going to come back.
Holding. Number 50 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
No. Josh Mitchell again, Yogi.
Well, that's a tough one. I don't agree with that. When he's just pushing, his hands are inside. Well, you got to respond from it. Now here we are. Third down.
Third and 15. Collins back to throw. Settles in. Flings it toward the end zone. Man in the air and incomplete. Victor Bolden, the intended receiver. Zekiel Harry was in coverage for Weber State.
Taking a shot, getting over the top of a defense. Those throws aren't necessarily in Seth Collins' game. Rhythm throws in the red zone when the field is short. But those are the throws you got to make if you want to be a graduate level player, if you want to really take this thing over, as they're going to go for it. Excuse me, third down here.
Yeah, they had the marker incorrect a moment ago. So this is now, that was a second down play. This is 3rd and 15 now for Collins. He'll hand off. No, he won't. He'll keep it and head to the far side. Burton is there and drags him down.
And I like that play call. Just get yourself as much as you can. You know you're going to kick the field goal. But again, penalties. Gary Anderson referenced it at halftime with Lewis Johnson. Not acceptable. Last year, 120th in the nation in penalties. And you got to change that culture. Todd Graham, he went through the same thing at Arizona State. They're going through that here.
Garrett Owens has been good, 2 for 2 from 30 and 40, and now he will tee this one up at the 39-yard line. The snap, the hold is set, the kick is up, it is good. And Oregon State leading Weber State 16-7 with 13:21 left in the ball game here on the Pac-12 Network.
And we're back live at Reser Stadium. Fourth quarter, the Beavers leading the Wildcats 16-7. And I'm with the Oregon State Athletic Director, Todd Stensberry, who is back in Corvallis. You were here for 9 seasons, off to Central Florida. So what's it like now to be back? New coach, new start here for football.
I'll tell you what, it's great to be back. New era. You know, the Gary Anderson era starts today, and I'm just, you know, you got to love being in this climate this time of year. A little bit different than Orlando.
You have a nice crowd on hand. School hasn't started yet, so I'm assuming the anticipation for this building is there for you.
Exactly. A lot of excitement about really seeing what Gary's going to do. A new offense, new defense. It's a pretty good night.
Speaking of new and speaking of building, I understand that north end zone is going to look a little different next season. Tell me about this $42 million project we'll have underway soon.
Sure, we're calling it Victory Through Valley, and it's really the next phase in finishing this stadium, and it's basically the nerve center for football. New upgraded facilities, locker rooms, training room, the training table, and as well as offices, meeting space, that sort of thing.
And can you just articulate how important it is to have that type of facility in the Pac-12, really in the country?
Well, it's huge. As you know, everybody, when you're trying to recruit and you want to show that you're committed to your program, it's important that you have facilities that put your student athletes in the best position to compete. And so this is what we need to do.
All right, we're looking forward to all that. Good luck the rest of the season, and great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kevin.
Thank you, Lewis. Weber State 1st and 10. They go to the ground. Denby to the 20-yard line, and then he is flattened. DeCoud comes up to make the stop.
Interesting, DeCoud's probably had one of the more complete games by this defense at Oregon State. He's played coverage, he's brought pressure from the boundary, he's tackled well, and this is a team that lost, a lot of people. They lost Ryan Murphy, Malcolm Maribel, Steven Nelson. I mean, that back end, Tyreek Zimmerman. But they lost a lot of people, and he's jumped into Kalani Sitake's system. This young man has kind of waited his time a little bit. Really excited to watch this young man as he transferred in from Chadron State and redshirted a year ago.
2nd and 9 for Jadrian Clark, the quarterback of the Wildcats. Settles in the pocket, throws, ball tipped off the fingertips of Drew Batchelor, could not control it. This will bring up 3rd and 9 now for Weber State.
Oregon State's going to bring the house here. You got to get the ball out of his hands. Again, if I'm Weber State, I'm taking a shot to number 1, Cameron Livingston. He's at the bottom of your screen. Him and Dakoud, they'll be going up man-to-man coverage. Pressure will come.
Kyle Pecco is the man over center. 3-man front. Clark settles in, throws, zips a pass complete to Batchelor, but he lands and maybe a yard shy of the first down. Devin Chappelle was there.
The defense is under Kalani Sitake. They do such a nice job of moving the defensive line around, not giving the quarterback ever a clear picture. When you get to the line of scrimmage as a QB, you think you know what's coming because you see the defensive front, you see where the linebackers are lined, you think you have a picture of the secondary. Well, that started as 2 deep safeties and quickly went to 1.
Keely Amakia getting set to punt. And a low sidewinder. Kicks crazily at the 40 and rolls out of bounds at the 33-yard line of Oregon State. Well, let's take a look at the Heisman Watch presented by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Yogi, who are you watching this year?
Well, this is my prediction, okay? Right now, everybody's got their Heisman Watch. I think Deshaun Watson at Clemson, he's going to go off this year. Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to pick up where he left off a year ago in the national championship game. But keep in mind, Adoree Jackson. I think he's the best pure athlete in this conference, arguably the best athlete in the country. He's going to be starting at corner. He's going to play a lot of receiver, the running back. He's going to play in the return game. They're going to feed this young man the ball. He's a world-class sprinter, jumper, and he's a really unique football player, and he's a great young man. I think he's got all the tools necessary to have a big-time year.
So you're telling me he is never going to leave the field?
Well, when it's critical, no. I mean, he literally can shut down the field. You talk to their defense, you talk to that staff, Steve Sarkisian, everyone in that department. In practice, he's just dominant. He can really shut down any receiver in the conference. He's played that way, and he proved it a year ago as a true freshman. And offensively, he's explosive. And you ask him, who do you compare him to? And they say he's even further along than number 5 than Reggie Bush was when he was a sophomore. So really excited to watch him play.
Collins, the quarterback, on 2nd down in the give. And Storm Bars Woods rolls out to about the 40-yard line.
Oregon State needs to pound the rock on this drive. Period.
Agreed.
Third down here, convert it. I'd work my slot receiver, Victor Bolden. He's at the bottom of your screen again, next to Jordan Villman. They're top two wide receivers. Make it a shorter field for Seth Collins on 3rd down.
Yeah, go to your old heads who've been in this situation before. But back comes Collins, hard rush. They feed it to Storm Bars Woods on the screen. Bounces out across midfield, across the 50, and has a first down. And the youngster Seth Collins stood poised, knowing that he was going to get a blow from Vince Coleman, who came in there strong.
Well, that's the thing in the screen game. You just got to bide your time, allow everything to get set up. And this is where Storm Bars Woods has really excelled throughout his entire career. It's the reason why he's a 2,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, that was set up beautifully. And when you go back and you study Storm Bars Woods, he doesn't drop the ball. He's got extremely sure hands.
You know, get the call again, Yogi. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
We went back and studied Storm Bars Woods with College Football Focus, one of our partners here at the Pac-12 Networks. And coming into tonight, last year he was 100% when it was a catchable ball. 100%. That's not very easy. 26 times they threw to him. Every single time it was catchable, he caught it. I thought he could have caught the wheel route earlier on tonight, so now his percentage drops a little bit. But he's got sure hands.
Back to throw is Collins. Beautiful tight rotation. Man under it. Man makes the catch and a touchdown. Jordan Villman got under that beauty. What a dart that was. Thrown by the freshman Seth Collins, who just wound up and delivered a bomb. Devontae Johnson was down there. He didn't have a chance. Jordan Villman had position under that ball.
Well, they said he's been making plays all camp. That's when he's going to be enjoying tonight. What I love was Seth Collins' energy. He sprinted down there he almost beat some of the offensive linemen down there to celebrate. He's geeked up because he knows that's the area of his game that needs to really improve.
And remember, this is after Coleman came in there and cleaned his clock when he made the completion on the screen pass. The young fellow stepped up and delivers the goods. A 44-yard hookup and a touchdown development. Beavers take the lead at 23-7, 9:55 to go here in the fourth quarter play. Look at this beauty thrown by Seth Collins, the true freshman from San Diego, California.
Well, it's man-to-man coverage, and I got to be honest, all night long, Jordan Villeman and Devontae Johnson, they've been battling. And Seth Collins, his emotion has been fun to watch all night long, and to watch him get a big completion like that, it gets you excited because that's the part of the game that the Michigans of the world are going to make him do. They're going to make him make those throws down the field. Clean pocket, he stands back and delivers a dart. That's what you're supposed to do. I think we'll get used to seeing that combination.
And Jordan Velleman made a terrific play on the bat. And that's where that 6'5" frame comes in to play, using those basketball skills to get into the air. Well, let's go now to San Francisco for an update from our good friend Mike Yam. Of course, Jake Browning, another true freshman, getting a start at this level. Yogi, boy, that's swimming in the deep water.
That's part of the Pac-12 now. UCLA, Josh Rosen. I mean, the talented young quarterbacks coming out of high school. I see him every year with the Elite 11. Jake Browning, as gift of a passer as Chris Peterson has probably ever coached.
Clark is knocked down. Here comes the rush. Kalani Sitake dialing up aggression one more time.
It's so much fun watching this defense because you have these flashbacks of the Utah Utes to a degree. The front seven getting a lot of internal penetration, a lot of games going on up front, defensive tackle going out, a defensive end looping in, variety of different coverages, never giving the Weber State offense a similar look. And that is what has allowed Oregon State to really thrive defensively tonight.
Brings up 2nd and 16. Pass complete, but just across to the 16-yard line. Clock continues to tick, so leave a lot of yardage left for the first down. Cameron Livingston with the catch. That's his first. They've done a great job on Livingston. All Big Sky a year ago. Clark back to throw. Tight spiral. Nobody in the neighborhood. Nobody near that one. Darrell Denby, the intended receiver, he was about 15 yards shy of that ball. So just like that, Weber State will give it back to Oregon State, and Clark comes limping off the field. They've got a tough one next week. They're in Fargo to take on North Dakota State, the Bison, 4-time national champions at the FCS level. And of course, the Bison have lost one already this year, losing at Montana in week 1. They're going to be salty. That punt fluttering down near the 45-yard line, out of midfield, and Oregon State will take over. Mascot's taking off.
Come on, man.
Where are you going? 23-7, Beavers on top of the Wildcats from Weber State of the Big Sky Conference. 8:34 remaining here in the ball game. Seth Collins, freshman quarterback out of San Diego, California, back at the controls. 9 of 15, 86 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. And he's back to throw again. Plants the right foot. He's going to go deep again. He's got a man underneath, and nearly hauling it in was Victor Bolden. Oh, it was right there, delivered on the money. Bolden unable to reel it in. The audacity of that freshman. Boldly raising up and just throwing another bomb down there. Look at the tight spiral on this one, Yogi.
You got to make this play. I mean, that's an absolute dime piece right there by Seth Collins, man. Victor Bolden made that play 100 times in his career.
Yep.
And he knows it. He didn't come off the field either.
70-plus catches a year ago. Already a touchdown here today. They go to Brown. And Brown, for one of the few times this evening, is dragged down at the line of scrimmage. 8:17 remaining, and the clock continues to run. 3rd and 10 now for the Beavers who are in the driver's seat, up 16 with possession.
And that's a tricky one, you know. You want to run the ball, keep the clock going, you know. Try to get half here. It's a unique spot on the field. Sometimes they go for it on this. They call it 4-down territory. So if you're told by the head coach, hey, you got 2 downs to get this alters your 3rd down call.
Collins hesitates, and again he's going to drop back to pass. He's looking deep this time. Now looks for an intermediate delivery at the 40-yard line. And Hunter Jarman, the intended receiver, has it tipped away. Devontae Johnson was there to swat it.
Good defense by Johnson. The corners have been tested here all night, but when you look at Seth Collins' game, heading forward, when he's throwing the ball and falling backwards, which has happened a lot tonight, he has not been accurate. But when he stepped into the pocket, stepped into the throw, he threw a touchdown pass to Jordan Billman. Should have thrown another touchdown pass to Victor Bolden. He's got to set his feet. It's one thing to be athletic and throw on the run, but not when you're falling backwards. That's really when you lose a lot of your accuracy. The ball sails on you. And that's happened to him multiple times this evening.
Nearly blocked. Porevsky angles this one high into the air. Fair caught, juggled, but secured at the 19-yard line. Weber State will go to work from there. Following the game is the Sonic postgame report. Mike Yam, Lincoln Kennedy, and Nigel Burton are standing by in our Pac-12 Network studios. The Sonic postgame report coming up next. Vernon Adams Jr., we're going to look at him tomorrow as Eastern Washington goes into Eugene to take on the Ducks. What do you want the fans to know about Vernon Adams as we prepare for that game?
Well, they call him Big Play VA for a reason. I mean, this young man has risen up throughout his entire life in big moments. And tomorrow night is going to be history. I mean, this young man was a starting quarterback, Walter Payton Camp finalist a couple times, as this defense of Oregon State just keeps coming. But fundamentally, what Vernon Adams did was he said, you know what, I know I'm the guy here. I know that I'm going to have a chance at the next level, but I want to go play at Oregon and prove I can be one of the best in the country. And we had a chance to talk to him earlier today, and he said that was the big reason. He wanted to prove to scouts that he could play big-time college football, get a chance at the next level. And Oregon, what a perfect situation for him.
Look at Vernon Adams' numbers and the progression. Remember, he was hurt last year, missed 4 games.
He's dynamic. I mean, you go break him down on film, and he's as accurate as any quarterback in the Pac-12 conference outside of the pocket when things break down. But the system in Eastern Washington is also one where he had to sit in the pocket, change protections, audible at the line of scrimmage. This young man has the functional football intelligence necessary.
Baker Pritchett a moment ago had the sack, and again more pressure applied, this time from the edge and the secondary. And Clark comes up limping. There is a flag on the play.
Flag down.
Looks like they're going to pick up the flag. Well, no.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Number 55, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And that's going to be a penalty to watch tomorrow night with Vernon Adams and also here. Remember, the rule is offensive linemen can go 3 yards down the field until the ball is released. A lot of these offenses, specifically Oregon's offense, even Oregon State here tonight, when you're running your quarterback and doing a lot of those perimeter runs or those quick bubble screens, the O-lineman can drift downfield. And a lot of coaches tried to get that rule changed this offseason to make it 1 yard. Did not happen, so really put a lot of pressure on linebackers throughout the country going up against these spread teams.
Weber State forced to punt again. Ramel Dockery twists and turns, makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Pac-12 Network's original series, The Drive, returns for its 3rd season. This year featuring unprecedented access to the football programs of Oregon State and Utah. The season premiere Wednesday, September 23rd at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain. The Drive, presented by Lexus.
You know what I loved about that last shot? You saw Najee Patrick kind of get loved up by Gary Anderson. It was a clip that went viral, and the crew of The Drive was here to capture that of when he got put on full scholarship. And as a former walk-on, those moments are so unique when you get put on scholarship, when you can call your family, celebrate with your teammates. I can remember my day, and I know Najee can remember his, and we'll put that all over The Drive.
Victor Bolden's going to get a little sweep action to the far side, and he tumbles out of bounds, got clipped over there. 6:16 remaining in the ball game. 23-7 the count. And Oregon State on top of Weber State. Collins has been sparkling here in the second half. 100-plus yards since Tim Alexander in '96 when he put 205 on Northern Illinois. Tonight, 114 for Seth Collins. 2 touchdowns through the year and no interceptions.
Well, what's impressive about Seth Collins is it's been his demeanor, and he's also gotten a little lucky. I mean, that was Knapp playing quarterback tonight. Marcus McMarion played 10. They split the first 2 drives, 2 drives. Both were efficient. Ran only 34 plays the entire first half, so not a lot going on. He comes out in the third quarter, a 16-play touchdown drive that took about 6 minutes and 50 seconds. That was impressive to me. The big throws, the nice runs, we know he can do those things, but it's managing this offense consistently. That's what Dave Baldwin and Gary Anderson are looking for, and I think he's done that.
Brown, quick hitter up the middle. Brown gets across the 50-yard line. Well, Oregon State may have found a starting quarterback, and they've also, I think, found a very dependable, workman-like back in Chris Brown, the junior from Fresno, California. He was doing a lot of was on the special teams a year ago. And boy, does that take the load off of Storm Bars Woods when you got a guy like Brown who can go to work between the tackles. Collins fakes the handoff, has a great block ahead. That'll get him another 10, 15 yards as he gets down inside the 25-yard line. Terrific downfield block applied to spring Seth Collins, who's electric with a football.
This is exactly what coaches love in terms of the beginning elements of the play. But the end, they absolutely hate it. I love Seth Collins trying to dive back in, get a couple extra, but run out of bounds, son. And that's what we're going to tell him. Look at Dave Ball, face getting even redder. They got to go to Ann Arbor next week, and this young man, he's their chance if they want to make that upset.
Kellen Klute with that downfield block, Yogi. Got to mention him. That was terrific play to spring his quarterback for another 10, maybe 15 yards. Brown again gets the carry with 4:34 remaining. Dave Baldwin at Oregon State working the clock. Baldwin, of course, an assistant at Utah State with Gary Anderson, departed to Colorado State, and now the gang is all back.
They truly are, and I think they're going to be utilizing a lot of their gang on offense. The Kellen Klute, the Caleb Smith, these other receivers next week when they go to Michigan, they go to the big house, they're going to have to, because the one thing Michigan's defense is going to try to take away is number 4's running ability.
They reverse it to Bolden, and he is driven to the turf. Back behind the line of scrimmage, Vince Coleman in on the play.
And a lot of the stuff that you run here, there's also some gamesmanship going on and making sure that Michigan's preparing for that, for the fly sweep, for the end around, for the all those different elements, different personnel's formations. You just want to try to take up as much practice time as you possibly can because they have an extra day to prepare.
Well, Marcus McMarion, remember that was after the drive you alluded to, the 16-play drive. Then on the next possession, they were bottled up down at their own 6-yard line, and that first play was a deflection that got away into the hands of Burton. He raced into the end zone for a touchdown. In comes Seth Collins once again. Take a look at Oregon State, what they've got ahead. Well, big house awaiting them, Yogi.
It's going to be a fun environment. Gary Anderson's, they're not going to be intimidated walking into that environment, that's for sure. They're going to come in feeling as though they can win and shock the world, and they can compete against Michigan. I think they can compete with them. We're fun to see how that happens next weekend. Then San Jose State, they ideally would get that win, and then this matchup against Stanford here, and that's when students are going to be here. So this place will be rocking. Research Stadium will really be full then. All the students will be back. Campus will be going. It'll be fun how they progress. And I know we saw Marcus McMarion and his body language, and he's clearly bummed. Only 10 snaps tonight, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. We know what Seth Collins did tonight, but it's a long season. And sometimes this game, it's the way the ball bounces, and it didn't necessarily bounce his way tonight.
Well, competition has a way of focusing the attention, certainly, and you want a competitive atmosphere. That's exactly what Gary Anderson talked about in our discussions with him earlier this week. Here's a quick little flare off to the far side and a completion, and that was Chris Brown coming out of the backfield to make a catch. We haven't seen that tonight. So Brown really demonstrating a varied skill set for this Oregon State Beaver ball club. However, it brings up 4th down. And the field goal unit is on the field, and they're going to back this one up. And It'll set up at about the 35-yard line, a 45-yarder now. Special teams have been good for Oregon State as well, lest we forget. Garrett Owens has the foot and the distance, the direction, and that's up and in. So Owens has been terrific tonight. 26-7 the count, 3:11 to go in the fourth quarter of play.
Well, we're going to take it to the whiteboard.
Oh, my goodness.
Casey.
Yogi, I've got the same suit on tonight.
Well, hey, I learned from you,
good
man.
Good choice. I like that.
Well, look, Gary Anderson, he talks to his team all the time about being big-time D1. Well, if you want to be big-time D1, you need to showcase a ridiculous love for the game. He calls it the process. All the little things, watching film, coming in early, staying late, and then you've got to embrace the competitive temperament of what is this program now. No job is safe. You're constantly, everything you're doing, you've got to compete. And then when you get to these game moments, you got to let it rip. You got to cut it loose. I think Seth Collins did exactly that. He did not hesitate tonight. He saw things, he took it, he put his foot in the ground. And the most impressive element, even though, yes, it is Weber State, and Oregon State should win this game, and they should have won it walking away. That clearly isn't what happened tonight, but they responded in the second half.
Yes.
I mean, they were abysmal in the first half. That was embarrassing for the standard that Gary Anderson has set here, and really the standard that is set at Oregon State over the last 100 years of football. But I do think they responded, and that's the biggest thing as a head coach in your first game. They bought in, they're responding. This program, the 9th youngest team in the country, will continue to grow.
Garrett Owens gets into this one. Wilkes will bring it out. Angles here to the near side. Tried to cut it back. Is corralled. And Weber State will go to work with 3:04 remaining in the ball game. Oregon State leading at half 6-0. And Gary Anderson, in his conversation with our Lewis Johnson at the end of the first half, was visibly miffed. He was upset at the lack of execution, the penalties, miscommunication. I mean, it was sloppy football, no question about it. And then they came right back out and cobbled together that drive you just talked about.
And that's what he's done with his team. And you'll see it when the drive premieres later on in September. So much of what he does is we see Livingston finally getting into the action a little bit.
Yeah.
So much of what he does is trying to make his team uncomfortable. He'll do it out of practice sometimes. Livingston, hopefully he's all right. He's such a big part of this team. But Gary Anderson, he'll do it out of practice. He'll change practice scripts. He'll change what they're doing. He'll change up what happens during the day. You saw it in the promo of, think you're at a meeting, and then all of a sudden you're going to the movies. I mean, they try to change things up all the time.
Yeah, you can see Livingston get rattled right on the top of the hat. Coming up on our post-game show, brought to you by Sonic, Mike Yam, Lincoln Kennedy, Nigel Burton standing by in our Pac-12 Network studios. The Sonic post-game report coming up next. I'm tickled that Lincoln Kennedy and Nigel Burton have joined forces with the Pac-12 Network. I love Lincoln Kennedy on that Fox radio show he's been doing for years. And Nigel Burton, I watch him on the Comcast show all the time in Portland doing the X's and O's.
Oh, we got him now,
baby. Great
to
get him, off the field and into the broadcast booth. I know he would like to get back out on the field, certainly, but for the time being, great to have those two young men in the studio. I say young men because I'm older than any of these cats. Now take a look at these two young dudes over here. The two freshmen, one a redshirt freshman, one the true freshman.
Well, they were roommates last night. They said after talking to them yesterday after practice, they've been each other's champion. They've been in each other's corners. And you kind of have to be at that position. The quarterback position, I think you do one of two things. You either love what the game brings you, which is Twitter followers and all the love on TV, or you love what you bring the game. And to be great and to be a leader of a program, and one of them may be a 4-year starter here at Oregon State, you've got to give back to the game, to the position. You do that through your dedication, through your hard work. And watching these two young men tonight, they both did it. Marcus McMaryion, clearly, he's probably a little frustrated the way the ball didn't bounce for him necessarily. A pick six to start off his first drive in the third quarter. But number 4, man, he took off tonight. He really owned the position. That play, the Sweet Vines moment of the game, even though it got called back, it electrified this stadium, electrified him. And he plays with an emotion, with an energy, with a chip on his shoulder. Remember, he was on his way to San Jose State, was not coming to the Pac-12. He's committed there, going to be a mid-year player in January, and all of a sudden gets an offer on a Monday, commits on a Tuesday, shows up for class on a Thursday.
Wow.
And both of these quarterbacks, they're competing against 5 other guys. 7 quarterbacks competed for that job in the spring. 2 kind of came out, Nick Mitchell and Seth Collins, not Marcus McMarron. He went to work over the summer, and really, I think that his game elevated number 4's game, and that entire room has gotten better because of the competition at that position.
Cameron Livingston, maybe in the best news of the night, comes walking off the field under his own power for Weber State. He'll be evaluated, but great to see him after that big collision come off the field on his own 2 feet. So Weber State goes back to work with 2:45 remaining. 2nd down and 3. And Clark stops back in the pocket and delivers the goods to Danby. He's immediately wrapped up and dropped to the turf.
I'll tell you, if there's one thing to look forward to next week, is how does Oregon State play against the tight end at Michigan, Jake Butt. He went off last night, a big-time player.
Yeah.
Over the middle, Weber State has had success in between the hashes against these linebackers.
Low snap, Clark gathers it in and throws a bullet. Batchelor with the completion, and they will mark it down at the 37-yard line. Clark back to throw again. Finds Batchelor coming clear, but he is shy of the 1st down.
Ramo Mangao, he's been all over the field.
Yes, he has.
That's the matchup, though, next week. Him against the tight ends. He's gotten beat a couple times tonight. You know Kalani Sitake's going to have a great plan going up against the Wolverines.
They bring pressure. It's picked up. Clark throws over the middle, and that's incomplete.
And that's it. Those are the seam throws that we'll see on Saturday. But all in all, for Oregon State, you put so much into your offseason when you're a new program. You're trying to completely implement your culture. And it's not as though this was bad, so it wasn't as though Gary Anderson took over something that was abysmal. But he had to put his stamp on it. And it's always good to see them come out and get a win and respond to adversity the way that they did. Because what this was at halftime, and even after the pick 6 by McMarron, it could have kind of gone a little either way.
Look out, Clark, blindsided. Heaves the ball into the air. It's intercepted. There are flags flying everywhere. The pass has been picked off. Clark got rocked. He is struggling to get to the sideline. Sussman got up under the ball and made the interception. But flags were flying as soon as he caught it. Adam Sussman, the freshman from Clovis, California, with the pick, pending the outcome of the penalty.
Pass interference, number 12 defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. That will be an automatic 1st down.
And the challenge with the way the rule works is, see, Jadrian Clark just, he takes a shot. As he gets hit, the ball just kind of flutters in the air. But since the ball isn't touched at all, you can't have any contact. And because the ball is kind of underthrown and kind of flutters in the air because he was hit, there's contact by the secondary. And it's a good call. It's a tough one. It's going to probably happen every time that occurs to a quarterback. But that's just the way that penalty goes.
Kendall Hill penalized, and Clark now will backpedal and throw and screens one out to the far side. That is incomplete.
He's hurt.
Clark has been laboring, Yogi, since early in the 3rd quarter when he got hit.
He's a tough kid, but I'd take him out. This is a young man who he's won 2 of the 3 last year. He's clearly the leader of this team. This team is so much better than a year ago. We had them against Arizona State in Jay Hill's first game. He's a big reason why. Hopefully he gets out of this game, gets in the ice bath, gets into some treatment, and I'm excited to watch him as the season goes on because they got a fun one. You mentioned earlier, next week, North Dakota State. That's going to be interesting as Carson Wentz is their leader at the quarterback position.
Fargo, baby. And they've already been beaten by Montana. They're going to be upset about that. Drew Batchelor is quickly becoming a favorite target of Clark. He makes the catch there. 1:05 remaining in this ball game. 3rd and 8. Tomorrow we're in Eugene. Vernon Adams Jr. and the Oregon Ducks to take on Eastern Washington. Bo Baldwin has done a terrific job at Eastern Washington over the years. And you can bet they're going to be sky high for an opportunity at the number 7 team in the country. Oh, no, by the way, their ex-teammate Vernon Adams.
It is going to be electric. This is an Oregon team that has had a bad taste in their mouth since the national championship game when Ohio State just ran right over them. They want to prove to people they're back.
Well, that ball intercepted, but they're blowing the play dead. And did the moment that Clark stepped back to throw. Kyle Haley picked him off, but it won't count.
There is no play. Timeout was called by Oregon State prior to the snap. That's their second charge timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Sometimes you get it right with a timeout, sometimes you don't. Come on, go. It just shows the familiarity within that staff. I mean, these are guys that they've known each other for so long. They've trained one another. Gary Anderson has mentored so many of the members of his staff. And having a little fun towards the end of the game. And congratulations to him. You know, and then his first win in the Pac-12 conference, an absolute coup for Oregon State to get this guy out of Wisconsin.
Tomorrow, big schedule. It's a quadruple header at the Pac-12 network. Portland State and Washington State at 11 a.m. Grambling State and Cal at 2. Eastern Washington and number 7 Oregon at 5. And if you still haven't changed out of your pajamas, Arkansas State and number 8 USC at 8 p.m. Catch all the action on Pac-12 Network, the Pac-12 Now app, or pac-12.com. Clark back to throw, zips one, and that one pinballs in and out of the hands of the receiver and the defender.
Excited to see that SC game tomorrow night, too. And so much has gone on there. We were there for training camp kind of right after the situation broke with Steve Sarkisian, and I think this team is so hungry to get it on the field.
Yeah,
they might absolutely go off against Arkansas State, and they should. I mean, they're a much more talented team. As Cody Kessler, one of the more gifted players in the country, clearly
39 touchdown passes a year ago and a rating of 167, a completion average of just shy of 70%. Very efficient dude. 7 300-yard or better games. Penalty flags with 25 seconds remaining in this one.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on the defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Jay Hill, he spent a lot of time at Utah, 13-year assistant at Utah. Gary Anderson recruited him to play at Utah under Ron McBride. He actually coached with Kalani Sitake and coached together with Anderson there at Utah as well. And once again, the phone calls will freely flow between the two coaches. There wasn't a lot of contact this week, Yogi, but after tonight, Jay Hill moves on. A game against the Bison in North Dakota State in Fargo, and for Gary Anderson, it's a date against Michigan in the Big House, going back to reacquaint himself with the Big Ten. Congratulations to Gary Anderson, the new coach of the Oregon State Beavers, who's going to rally his club out there around him here at midfield, and Lewis Johnson is down there standing by with Gary Anderson.
Well, Coach, it was a rough start, but how about the way your team bounced back? Your thoughts on the way they closed out this game to get your first win of the season?
Well, they kept fighting. That was a good thing, you know, and I was pleased with the defense for most of the night. They did a nice job, and we've got to get a lot better. You got a lot to work on, but freshman quarterback came in there, made some plays, dropped a couple deep balls right on people. We caught one of them, dropped another one. So I'm proud of the kids. A win is a win right now, and plenty to work on. Still, the unforced errors are costing us a lot, and we've got to get better at that if we're going to win.
Have you found your quarterback in Seth Collins?
Yeah, I would say Seth definitely proved himself tonight as the starter. He'll be the starter at this point, and then we'll continue to move forward. And Marcus and Nick both need to be prepared to get themselves ready to go.
And how about your defense, the way they played, and how do you carry all of this into next week, the Big House, where you'll play at Michigan?
Well, you know, the defense played very well. They did some great things. We know we're going to be challenged at a very high level next week.
Right.
It's going to be a tough place to play. It's a long trip across 3 time zones. We're going to do it the right way, and we're going to prepare, and we'll go in there, and we'll expect to win, and I'm sure Michigan will expect to win also.
All right, Jay, congrats. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Well, beautiful job by Gary Anderson, whose quarterback Seth Collins was 10 of 18 in the air He had 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Yogi on the ground, 17 carries, 152 yards for the freshman.
Well, he proved that it wasn't too big for him, and for a freshman to come in this environment, win the job in training camp, kind of really win the job tonight. I was really impressed with this young man. His demeanor, his focus, his ability to throw the deep ball. He's got to get a lot better, but you got to be excited about this young man if you're a Beaver.
Great job by Seth Collins. Oregon State Beavers didn't have it on track in the first half, but they sure collected themselves with great poise in the second half. Come away with a win here at home against Weber State. 26-7 the final. That'll do it here from Corvallis, Oregon. Again, the final. Beavers win 26-7 for Yogi Roth. Lewis Johnson, I'm Kevin Calabro here from Corvallis. Now let's take you to Mike Yam in the Pac-12 Network Studios in San Francisco.